Hello everyone, and welcome to part 2 of the deepest dive on Resident Evil Requiem, Resident Evil 9. We played the whole damn game. In part 1, we talked through Leon doing a boss fight in a church. In this episode, we are going to talk about that church through to the end, credits, after credits, multiple endings, the whole thing. So if you don't want to be spoiled on Resident Evil Requiem, don't listen to this episode yet. If you do want to be spoiled on Resident Evil Requiem, but you'd prefer to have this in a podcast so you can, do your Leon Kennedy-inspired workout while you're listening to us, you can get that by jumping up to the $5 tier on MinnMax. You can also contribute comments to any future Deepest Dives, send in questions for the podcast, all that. If you want to get, pretty much just everything MinnMax does, including like Janet and I's extended GDC travelogue, which we'll be releasing soon, you can jump up to the $10 tier on Patreon. Haley, what's going on?
There's a spider that came down from the ceiling, and then I got it on. Oh, it's still here. Here, one sec. It's like that level in Resident Evil 9 with a spider.
Oh my god.
Where is he?
I think I saw it fall off the pen.
Where's it go? It's very light colored. Sorry, I'm totally donking up your amazing intro.
Haley is living a survival horror protagonist experience while we're doing this podcast. Anyway,
Sarah,
MinnMax Patreon, that's where it's at. That's what's going on. Bug Hansen? Was it Bug Hansen?
That was Bug Hansen leveled up.
That was Bug Hansen. No, that was the boss from the second half of the Deepest Dive.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
To give his interview.
Before he grew up. I am joined by the same delightful panel that I had for part 1. We've got spider fighting Haley McLean.
He got away. I don't know where it went.
We've got Leon simping Sarah Podzorski.
Hey, I read all 60 pages of Grace's document, okay, in 5 minutes, and you said I couldn't do it.
Your homework.
They didn't believe.
And we've got Leon simping Blake Hester from outside MinnMax, co-host of the Something Rotten podcast. Blake, I want to read you a comment right up top. I think Blake should have plugged his book about the oral history of Guitar Hero more. From Ben Hansen.
Okay. Do you want me to do that right now?
Do it.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So
I'll go
you see,
get
in
it. I'll go
2020,
get it.
in 2020, I wrote an article for a dinosaur called Vice.com. It was 24,000 words long and it was the oral history of Guitar Hero. And I said, what if I made this into a book? And then Timms and Hudson, a beautiful publisher based in New York and London, said, great, we'll commission it. I said, great. And then it took 5 years for them to actually let me start work on it through a series of foibles and false starts. And then I wrote it, and I added Rock Band and Guitar Hero, Metallica and Beatles Rock Band.
It looks so
It was
sick.
cool. There's some stories about, there's some stories about Yoko Ono in there. Some stories about people peeing off a Best Buy in there. That was pretty cool. I liked that.
Oh, and it's back in stock. It was not in stock for a little while, but it looks like you can get it now from Read Only Memories.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Blake wrote a book. There you go, Ben. Hope that was the electrifying start to the podcast you were looking for.
This is what they'll send it in. This is the fancy box they send it in. This has got to go to my good friend Emmanuel Mayberg, who actually commissioned the original story. I got a copy for him to sign. But this is the point being. This is the fancy fucking box that comes in. So there you go. Jacob, you know about fancy boxes the books come in?
I love the
big
fancy box
conversation point.
I have both your
both
your books next to each other on my TV shelf.
Thank you so much. Can I ask
Something
Haley,
wrong
what
with
was
the
the
book.
note? What was the note in your book?
The note.
Mine
Did
just
you get one
said,
of the
thank
signed
you
one?
so much. And I thought Blake wouldn't have written that if he knew it was me.
You didn't write me a note.
Some people get some funny ones. Jesse got one that said, I made all this up. So that was a pretty good bit by me.
I just got some nice
And I
signatures.
Oh, that's the one with the harmonics people. I couldn't put jokes in those.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, wherever you buy books. There you go.
Anyway, speaking of comments, we got that one from Ben Hansen, but I want to play the game that we play at the beginning of every Deepest Dive, which is most common comment. Last time, it was just, how about that chainsaw fight with Leon in the hospital room, blah, blah, blah. What do y'all think was the most common comment this time around?
The ending, right? The different endings. And which one's
That one got
the
a
good
lot.
one?
The ending choice, lot of discussion. Not the most common as far
Is
as
it
I
about-
remember.
How Leon Kennedy could parry God himself if he tried.
Definitely got some of those too. Blake?
Is it people saying maybe a little too much Leon? Just like maybe a little too much in the long run.
It is kind of that. It is people kind of wrestling with what is nostalgia baiting, what is fan service, what is kind of earned. There's just a lot of going back and forth of people being like, this worked for me, this didn't work for me, you know, reminders of the series, yes, no. A lot of kind of hand-wringing over that.
That's really fascinating because I don't even think that's the direction I was kind of thinking. I just think that the 3 relay section is too long.
I don't know.
Totally
I think we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah,
a little.
But like it's interesting to hear that other people took a similar idea down a different track. But that's
It was
where
interesting.
that's where I got.
Yeah, because Haley and I played this part together. You can watch our playthrough on the MinnMax YouTube channel. And it was interesting because I've played Resident Evil 2, but Haley didn't play Resident Evil 2. So it was like, it was interesting thinking like, she thought she'd think something was a puzzle, and I'm like, it's not, we already did that in Resident Evil 2. So yeah, there was an interesting like nostalgia situation there where it's like some of it could be lost in translation.
Yeah, like I walked up and there was a puzzle, and Sarah was like, "You're not doing that puzzle. I did it already in another game." I was like, "Why am I seeing it then?" It was confusing.
Yeah, let me actually read 2 comments here that are both kind of about that. Brock1A said, as someone who's a big fan of Original 4 and hasn't played 2, this was a really weird section for me. I know the basics of 2, but the whole section felt like it was going over my head. And then JG, but not me or Janet Garcia, as far as I know, said, I find it really interesting how Leon's character in RE9 only works because of the 2 and 4 remakes. I can't think of another example of a franchise still being continued with new numbered entries which respond to remakes rather than the original entries. Which I think it's like, yeah, this game is very much like, you know, the remake of 2 has kind of replaced original 2 in the series storytelling, and then they really want you to be nostalgic for 2, but it's the 2 that came out in like 2019 instead of the 2 that came out, you know, however long ago.
Is this the perfect way to handle nostalgia? Just remake everything but really good, because Capcom remakes go hard, and then just be like, now you're nostalgic for this, and we get an extra long window again, another 20 years.
No, I think we should stop remaking things, no matter how good those 2 and 4s are. We gotta stop. They gotta shut that down. It's getting a little much.
Flesh Mess said the section was bizarre to me, a nostalgia bomb, but not for the game people are nostalgic for, but a 2019 remake. It's like if Snake's Dream and Metal Gear Solid 4 had featured twin snakes instead of the original game. Which is like, yeah, you know, it's interesting. But I will say, look, we'll get to this. This is jumping way ahead. When they did that music, when they put the 2 music, like when they had the little tinkles of the save room theme while you were going through RPD, that worked so much better than any of the just seeing the location again. The music really got me.
I liked that it looked like Dead by Daylight map. Because that's literally a map.
Haley gave us a full tour of the Dead by Daylight map, and she was telling me where all the pallets are.
It's crazy.
Where every pallet are, where every generator is.
It's 1 to 1.
Comment from Jeff N. Haley, who did RPD better, Dead by Daylight or Requiem?
Literally Dead by Daylight, because half the rooms are blocked off in Requiem. Like I was like, oh, I can go in here to loop Mr. X, and I was like, it's blocked off. What the hell? Like to the point that that level was actually kind of easy because I knew where everything was already. It was fun. But it's what a weird thing to have a multiplayer game so diligently recreate a level to the point that when I encounter the level for the first time in the intended media, it's the exact, like everything's the same except for no pallets or generators, obviously. But other than that, it's 1 to 1.
Some follow-up from last episode. We talked about the Sherry a little bit, who's on the phone, Barry's sister, but also we find out she's the girl that Claire saves in Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which is,
come on, boss. Keep up. Also, I
we
don't
didn't
think-
talk about that
I
last
think-
week, and you said the
No.
wrong name last week, Blake. So I'm correcting us.
Yeah, I do think she's not related to Barry Burton at all. By the way, of her last name is actually not Burton; it's Birkin.
Yeah.
So
I
you know.
knew I didn't really because I knew that eventually I figured out that it was Sherry. And then I'm just like, she joined the FBI. Like, why would you join? Well, we can talk about it at the end, but everyone seems to continue in this line of work, and it doesn't seem to be a great line of work to be in.
Yeah. So she's not Barry's sister at all, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
So Brian,
right,
I'm
but,
sorry,
like,
I read that verbatim, but it's not. But
No.
she is the rescued girl.
and
Yes.
here's where I messed it up. Barry Burton's daughter is more Moira. I'm not sure how you
Moira?
it's really
Moira.
Moira Burton, who's in Resident Evil Revelations 2, which I'm sure we all played and enjoyed. No? Okay. Well, that's where his daughter is. That's where the game's actual daughter is. And so I got them confused.
So we left off last time at an interesting point, which was like a little before maybe the most halfway point of the game, because we stopped after Leon fought kind of like a big bloater in a church, and Grace went through and the whole lab self-destructed. But then there is this kind of one more Grace section where she's in a water treatment plant, and it is pretty short and almost entirely just like a, hey, now's your time to kind of use all your resources against the girl while you're going around and like punching some buttons.
Yeah. It's kind of her version of a boss fight, I found it, where it was like
Yeah.
a puzzle-heavy boss fight.
Yeah, did you like it? Was it fun?
I think that it was an effective boss fight for Grace. And I thought that it was a very climactic end to the girl. So like it finally got rid of her character. But like I'm just running around turning these lights on, cranking cranks and getting my shoulder bitten occasionally. It was fairly short, but I was grateful it was so short because we had just come out of the other underground level. And I was like, I can't keep doing this running around and like turning lights on anymore. So I'm glad that it was sort of abridged. But I don't know if it was weirdly short, I guess, in my opinion.
I think I liked it less than all of her other stealthy sneak around areas comparatively, because this one did feel more like, let's quickly, we need to get the girl out of here, essentially. What's a fun way to do that? Like, make the sun shine on her and she explodes into really low res goop. Like, and we need something to make that facility, like, happen. This part you heard me screaming, Sarah. I was screaming my little butt off, though. Like, this part was scary, having to run to the lamps and turn them on just in the nick of time. I kept losing track of where the lamps were, and she'd bite my head off. Oh, I hate getting chased. I like the elevator, and she'd be coming right beside you, almost grabbing you as you got in. Effective, but it felt really short.
Yeah, I kind of... Go ahead,
I
Blake.
kind of forgot about this level until we started talking about it just now, which maybe speaks to what I thought about it. But I did certainly remember and like until the end of the game when they were like, oh, we're just going to kill Emily now. And I was like, that's not advocating for killing the small child. However, I thought it was a very bold choice. And I was like, holy Lord.
Yeah, well, there's a not most common comment, but multiple comments on that. I kind of wish
just wrapping up my thought there. Like, I think the story overall is pretty stupid by Resident Evil standards, but that was like the one moment in the game where I was like, I can't believe they're going for something like this right now, like capping that poor little girl, because I thought she was like the whole game, right? So for her kind of exiting at the halfway point was really, really surprising for me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we maybe did not heap enough praise last time on Grace's performance when her mom dies, which I thought was like a kind of shockingly real performance in Resident Evil, which is often a very campy, goofy series. And similarly, the CPR scene here, I was like, damn, Svarke in the comments said, maybe the first time in any media I've seen actual CPR being performed. Check for pulse breathing, compress 15 to 30 times, then inhale. Grace even counts to herself. And the Juan said the game has the best use of DualSense haptics. When Grace was giving CPR to Emily, I felt every compression and the 2 breaths from the controller, which is pretty cool.
what?
But like, I thought that was very, like, that sequence was very cool. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's just dying. And then Leon is like, sorry, babe. The only thing I know how to do is kill monsters, so I'm gonna shoot this thing.
Yeah. I do think.
And then we found out that he didn't hit any vital organs later in the game. Donnie Danico says,
Spider-Man 2.
yeah, one of the most egregious bits of storytelling I've ever seen, says Donnie. Jackson D said, you sure about that, Leon? I guess she didn't have any vital organs in her head because I shot her there about 12 times.
I saw someone post something that they tried to aim at her like glowing pustules like you do with every Resident Evil thing, and it actually moves your aim off of it when you try to shoot it. Apparently the game doesn't let you shoot those, so I think that's what he meant. Like, I didn't shoot her vital organs, her giant glowing Zelda like sticky outy organs, but yeah, we were shooting her in the head. So when he said that, I was like, okay, sure.
Can we, while we're talking about Emily here, can we jump to the end of the game? Because I have a big question.
Why not?
Does Emily regain her sight?
Yes.
Or
It looked like
perhaps
she
get it
did.
for-
Yeah, she did.
Because Grace at the end of the game is like, I'm teaching her how to read, and I was like, we know she knows how to read. That was a whole puzzle. What do you mean?
I didn't even think
to
about
drag
that.
you.
I had to drag this poor little girl through a hospital so she could read. And so
Oh
then
my
I was
gosh.
like, does she know? Can she see now? Became my big question. for
Yes,
the game.
Blake,
Yeah.
that was
Interested in
I had not thought of that. Manus submitted a comment that was exactly that point of like her being able to read was a whole puzzle. And yes, then there is some discussion in the comments of maybe Elpis cured her like cataracts, and so
Wow.
she's learning to read.
I thought it was
read,
like
but-
her goop
like-
regeneration. Because I don't know if somebody asked last time or Haley asked, because she was like, what happens in Resident Evil when these people become monsters and then they win? Do they turn back into humans? And I was like, no, they obviously stay monsters. But now the fact that Emily just turned back, I'm like, what are the implications of like the fact that you can de-monster yourself?
Every
yes.
Resident Evil game story is stupid, but this one is like, I think, particularly egregious in the small moments like this, where it's like, what are you doing? What are we doing here?
It gives like meat cocoon, like Emily's inside a big meat cocoon is kind of what, because at the end when they show her very quickly, she's nestled inside it like a sleeping bag, having a nap, and it was like opening up to let her out kind of energy, and I'm like, what?
Kind of cozy looking.
Kind of
to be
cool, but in
honest
her
with you.
transformation, her
cozy.
face explodes and blood goes everywhere. So what?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Pete said in the comments, does Grace feel bad about all the zombies she killed now that she knows there's a cure? Where it's like, yeah, if you had just like ran past all those guys instead of blowing their head off with a Requiem, maybe you would have been able to hit them with the Elpis.
Yeah, there's a question. Is it murder if you kill a zombie when a cure exists?
But you don't know that that cure exists, so I think
Once
it's
you
not.
know. Once you know.
The zombies in Renfield, or whatever it is, they are also infected by the T virus, right? But it's different. It's slightly different. Right? Because
I think that's the T
Elpis is a
virus they're
cure-
researching. Yes.
Elpis is a cure for T virus,
Is T
right?
virus.
Yes.
Because that's what Wesker has,
Okay.
and then he got that cured. So yeah, that tracks.
And the ones in Renfield are some like experiments at the like memory regeneration.
I think they're also
Yeah.
T virus, right? They're just
Yeah,
doing
I do think
blood
that
tests?
the implication is basically every zombie we saw in this game could have been cured by Elpis.
Okay.
Because it's like an
Gotcha.
antiviral and it's all virus.
They made it seem like all viruses would be cured by it.
Yeah,
Sure.
there's actually a comment from Charles Maxwell that says, what type of infection will the series use going forwards? I'm thinking amoebas. Of like, yeah, well, we cured viruses,
didn't
but
even
like,
think about
you know,
that.
there's something
I didn't-
else.
I didn't even think about it. Jacob, they got to bring back Las Plagas.
Yeah. The parasites.
I'm like, but then does
Yeah.
it count for the mushroom stuff? Is the mutamycete also cured by this Elpis, or is it
man,
just
yeah.
T virus?
Yeah, I feel like they have like the mushroom stuff is over there. Like we're
Yeah.
gonna forget that we had 2 games about mushrooms.
That's,
but I think
I hope that's not true.
Yeah, it didn't. Yeah, I agree about like the story parts of the second half. Like, it's clear that this part where Leon kills Emily is just supposed to show the difference between Grace and Leon, whereas like Grace is still new to all this and she struggles to kill things, but Leon is old to this and he's like, we shoot no matter
on
what.
sight.
So it's like, I think that was the point of that
Right.
scene, and to kind of like
That's
drive Grace away from Leon. But then the way they retconned it at the end, it was clear
Yeah.
that they just wanted to bookend the series with Grace and her mom at the beginning, and then Grace and Emily at the end. They literally just wanted that like motherhood to motherhood bookend, which I thought was kind of weird, but okay.
I feel
Yeah, I mean, and they at some point, like, you know, when Grace and Leon meet back up, I wrote down the note. I was like, so is Grace fine with it now? Because they didn't talk about Emily until Leon was like, missed all the vital points. And so when he shows back up and they start helping each other, I'm like, did Grace just get over him, like, killing a girl? You know, is she fine with it now?
I don't know. The part after that where they split up. Well, first of all, the part where Grace throws Requiem at Leon, and Leon just looks so disappointed, I think was the funniest thing in the game. Like, he just looked disappointed. He's like, "Are you serious?" And then she marches off.
I was also disappointed. She should have kept it.
She should have kept it. And then she marches off and then leaves with the very obviously the baddies. And I'm like, I'm not going to pretend that I
hung
don't.
you upside down and choked you out live
Yes!
in action, and you're like, "Let's go up in the copter." She's crazy in this. She's doing too much sometimes. Like, she's like, "Hey, new man, I don't know. Here's the little girl. I'll leave you alone with him. Bye." Like, no.
Who the heck was Enzo?
You mean Zeno?
Zeno.
One
That's
of
a
them.
new
Well,
name
who the
for
heck is
Wesker.
Enzo for that matter? Both of them. God, I don't know.
You're thinking of Assassin's Creed.
Yes, I referred to him as Wesker in my notes for nearly
Same,
the whole
I also
game,
called
and then
him
was like,
Wesker.
"Oh wait, he's actually not." We got a lot of
Is
comments.
Wesker dead? Or is Wesker
Well,
not dead?
okay, well,
That's
but
the
then he does the
question.
Matrix thing. Spencer Botine said, "So when this Machine Gun Kelly looking dude steps off the helicopter, I thought for certain, oh man, they brought Wesker back from getting double RPG headshot, which is how he went out in 5. But it turns out this baddie's name is Zeno. He's a clone of Wesker, right?" James
Is he?
Palermo.
Did they say that? Is that
Not-
like,
no, they didn't say anything
That was just
explicitly.
Spencer Botine's
Yeah.
kind of presumption. But like he did the Matrix dodge.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he did
and
the
he-
Matrix. He did the Wesker thing.
yeah.
James
It looks like Cody
Palermo
Rhodes. Just like Wesker.
theorized a spitting image of Wesker, whose past canon alludes to being the only one of a set of experiments to survive. Zeno comes from Greek of Zeus. Wesker calls himself a god in RE5. Gideon calls Zeno an imitation. He ultimately pales in comparison to Wesker. Is Zeno another clone or a blood memory ability transfusion candidate of Wesker's? And is he actually dead, or will we see?
We'll have to
more
wait
of
for
him?
the DLC. A lot of this felt like it was setting up a DLC. I feel like, why would you make Zeno's model look like that and then
Yeah.
put him in like only a few scenes? And we never got to fight him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was
No
crazy
fight.
that we never got to fight him.
Right.
So he's absolutely going to be in a DLC. I do
Yeah.
think that he's like somewhat of a clone of Wesker, because they talk about like the blood memories, right? And I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
like maybe he's not like a full clone, but like a partial clone. But yeah.
Maybe they'll explain who he is right alongside why Emily can see again. Or can she? What if she can't see?
The
Hold on.
DLC is actually just like a reading software program.
What if that'd be cool? What if she actually can't see? She's still blind, but she forgot how to read. What if we're all wrong?
that's way
And that's
bigger.
what-
The only words she could read was like moon, sun, and star, and she's learning the rest of them.
the books
like,
she's reading
in the
just that's all
photos-
it is.
In the photos of Grace and Emily, she doesn't have the cataracts anymore.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
their cataracts are notably missing from the photos, so I think she is just learning how to read letters. Letters.
Sure.
But yeah, sure. And then I like how you're really hung up on this point with Emily.
Blindness. Not that she
just
lost a
thought it-
weird monster baby body, but just that she can see.
bear with me. I think she should have stayed dead. I think that would have been the bolder.
yeah.
I kind of
story.
agree.
I feel like they were really shoehorning Emily into the plot a little bit.
I agree.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Just to finish off our Wesker conversation, Evan Robb just said this, which I think can apply to a lot of the nostalgia thing. I'm always so confused when a new villain is revealed. Their entrance always feels like you should know who this guy is, and while I've played most of the games, I can only remember so many guys, and sometimes the new guys look like the old guys. Is he a new guy or an old guy?
This is so relatable. You're like, do I know this person?
Or even like when
Also,
Mr. X
why
showed
did-
up, I'm like, he doesn't have the little hat. Is it someone
I
else?
thought
Like,
it
it's
was-
like little
yeah.
things.
Well, because it is, like, that's a... And look, we'll get to this. That is, like, a different Mr. X.
Yeah.
They get
It's
like
not
reborn
the
or
same.
whatever. Yeah.
I think they just made a
Manufactured.
bunch of them.
Yeah.
Did you
And
all
they come with
find
the jacket.
Did you all find the note about the price you can pay?
Yes.
to get
Yes.
a Nemesis?
I
thought
love
that was a really cool.
That
lore
was my
point.
one of my favorite things. Is like
Yeah.
comparing all the prices, and I love that it
Yeah,
said for the
yeah.
Mr. X it was like comes with jacket. And I was like, they all come with a little swanky trench coat. That's because they're too big, right? So
Yeah.
it's like they have to provide their own American Girl doll clothes, or else they won't fit in
man.
anything.
Yeah, and I like that
That's
it was
so
like,
sick.
okay, you can get like 20 dogs for the price of one liquor. You know, like how effective are these things?
Where's the value?
Yeah. Okay. Then we did get so this ends kind of part one of the game. The next section is this big Leon Raccoon City thing. We did get a government section where the Pentagon tells Leon and Sherry to stop investigating this. So last episode we were speculating on like, is the Leon works for the government, but the government is bad, right? Like the government is in with the, and so we are kind of getting, you know, much like Tom Cruise in every Mission Impossible movie. He eventually, you know, goes out on his own and is disavowed by his organization and has to do his own thing.
And we got it all during the car commercial of Leon
We
driving
got it all
his
during the
Porsche
car
to
commercial.
Raccoon City. In my mind, I keep thinking about how Gray slept in a helicopter. And I'm like, so did Leon just walk to the parking lot where he parked his Porsche and then like get in and go, guess I'm driving to like the rest of the way to Raccoon City? Like it's weird because I feel like it's just such a weird, and then he got in his car and just drove there and I'm like, okay,
Yep.
that's fine.
If we can keep cinema sensing it, on the drive there, he drives past the gas station from Resident Evil 2. And his Jeep is at the gas
yeah.
station. But we know that his Jeep blows up in Raccoon City. So what was up with that?
Messed up.
They dragged it back there just to mess with him.
Who?
The zombies.
Emily? I don't believe it.
Yeah, I will say, the Raccoon City, like, aesthetic was very, like, we are returning to, Blake, it was essentially a Something Rotten aesthetic. Like, we have played so many games that kind of are this, like, brown, muted palette, whatever.
Sure.
I did like coming into that city, just like how absolutely effed everything was. You know, I was just like, man, oh man, they are doing a good job of being like, this city was destroyed by an atomic bomb. You know, I thought it was cool how desolate it was. Did we spend a lot of time there? Yeah, but like, you know, especially the beginning section, I was kind of liking it. How about y'all?
Yeah, I like this section. Sarah and I split up and each did part of it. I got all the scary under the ground parts, and she got the fun
Oh my
mortar,
gosh.
shoot them with a big gun
I just
on the
made
roof
it look
part.
fun.
So I was a little bit scared. It was kind of fun to do stealth as Leon. You know, it was obviously optional when you're down in the parking garage and there's water everywhere. You could just power through that like you do any other section, but it was kind of fun to be like, no, I'm going to take it slow and stealth kill them and go around. I was getting lost quite a bit in this. There was a lot of map checking in this section to figure out what building to go onto and stuff.
Yeah, this was like Leon's care center. Like
Yeah.
Grace had her big level, and this is Leon's big level. And I think it balanced the stealthing zombies with like the shooting zombies with giant mortars, and guns and stuff very well. I thought that some aspects of collecting the detonator were stronger than others. Like the underwater one, or the one where you're like wading through water in the parking garage, wasn't as strong as like going up the Willis Tower, which we call the Sears Tower, and we don't acknowledge that we call it the Willis Tower.
Yes, Sarah was so excited. She's like, I know what that tower is. Wow.
But like that section was fun. Like the going up the building with all the glass, shooting the glass
part was
fun.
Cool. I like
so
that.
fun. But then not all of it was at that level.
Yeah,
I
was. Go ahead.
I really liked the Leon stuff. I like the idea that halfway through a game, it just becomes a different game. Like I think that's a cool idea. Like obviously it's like flirting with the idea throughout all of it, but the Leon sections are so short that I was like, I never knew if they were really going to go for it. And halfway through, it's like, yeah, this is just a completely different style of Resident Evil now. I think that's really cool. My complaint really is just like, it's so simple. I just think 2 relays would have been better. I don't know which one you cut, but there came a point where I was like, I got to go find a third one. It's already been a lot of time now. I got lost. I had to like look up a walkthrough to be like, how do I get out of the subway? Like, why am I even back down here again? But like I feel like there's kind of a more curated or just like edited version of this that maintains the highs of the Grace section for me, which I ultimately come out like being more positive on. But which is not to say I don't like it, but I just think overall like trim it down, you know? Kill
Yeah,
it
and they introduce you to the Leon crypto that he earned.
That's okay. Yeah. So Kevin S. from the Netherlands says the most audacious moment of the game weren't any of the wild bosses, encounters, one-liners, or death animations. No, that award goes to the first time your gamer score goes up in the corner of your screen as you kick off the warehouse fight as Leon, where in the game, the explanation is they have a wristband that is keeping track of how many zombies the like, I don't know, kind of raccoon paratroopers, umbrella.
BSAA.
The BSAA had killed. And then they're awarded with more weapons for how many they kill. Blake, we talked about last time, the mercenaries is the most fun part of Resident Evil. It kind of feels like they're just like, hey, we put the mercenaries in the game.
Just put the mercenaries in the game for real, though.
Yeah, just actually give me the mercenaries. I think that this section is saved by Leon being one of the most fun video game characters to control and shoot with. He's just like my favorite third-person action protagonist, you know, in a shooting game. But I do think I was really thinking how much time we spent talking about, like, isn't it cool how you remember who all the zombies are and they're all like purposefully placed and whatever in the Grace section, and you get to this section and it's just like, I don't know, 7 dudes pop out of the ground and you headshot them and kick them.
Those were the old Raccoon City zombies, not the upgraded new
with memories
Chicago zombies.
The new Chicago zombies.
I mean, the game like goes very far to like personalize the zombies though in the care center, right? Like it does feel like you lose a little bit of I don't know, ironically humanity, or just like a little bit of that creative touch is like wholly missing from the like Raccoon City portions, and it was like noticeable to me too, Jacob. On the other hand, I can throw 2 grenades taped together into a sea of 20 zombies and they all blow up. So it's like, you know, you give a little, you give a little, you get a little.
I think it's interesting that kind of in the like when you were doing cleanup as Leon in the first half, it was kind of like, oh, he's playing Resident Evil 4. But as Token Taters and Tom Rickard both pointed out, this feels more RE5, RE6 Leon. You know, it's kind of like we jumped, the action gap is like even kind of faster paced, more action than RE4. And but I also kind of don't, I liked the point system, but like I was kind of surprised how limited it was. I actually I maxed everything out. I kind of wished there were like more weapons or pistols or stuff you could do. It was like, it was simultaneously a lot of Leon, but also it was like, well, they didn't actually give him the inventory, the amount that he would have if the whole game was about him. Resident Evil 4 has like 3 kinds of grenades, and so there was some stuff that I was actually like, for a whole Leon action section, which I should love. I did kind of have some friction points.
So, do any of y'all playing on the hardest difficulty?
Hell no.
No, yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm not either. So I'm gonna need a commenter or someone to fact check this for me. However, I think so with Grace, it has the normal typewriter save system. But on the hardest difficulty, you have to get ink ribbons, right? But when you switch to Leon, you send an email on a laptop to save. And I think on the hardest difficulty, it completely abandons that system because you're using a laptop and you can just save as much as you want, which I found a very baffling.
Well, Grace was always the only character with the ink ribbons.
Yeah,
like,
I
Leon
know,
didn't
but
have ink ribbons in the first part either.
Oh, but there's I guess like what I'm curious about is like they didn't come up with any equivalent to like keep that mechanic going throughout the game. They just drop it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like Leon never is limited by inventory. The ink ribbons are like, oh gosh, I gotta keep something else in my inventory.
Okay, well then it's not worth like belaboring the point, but I think it's weird to just like completely drop the mechanic.
Even though you still play as that character later who uses it, even if it's only
and
Grace.
it's like the Leon sections are still like difficult, like you still like I died a lot. Like you could have had that like push and pull with that mechanic. Just I don't know, it'd be a USB or a floppy disk or something.
They love floppy disks in this game.
Just like completely not have it in the game.
Blake, I will tell you that every time you swear, someone has to beep it.
Someone?
Send an email apology to our new editor after this.
Oh my god, it's not Ben Hansen. That does make me feel bad. Oh, I really fudged up.
There were a number of times that I died as Leon, mostly in the versus other people with guns section, which we will talk about. But also I wrote at one point, I looked in my inventory, I was like, I have 14 full heals as Leon. Like I thought that he was, maybe they were giving me a little too much.
We were scrapping for heals. I think you're better than us because we were like thirsty.
We were getting blown to bits by those zombies with the missiles.
Yeah, and also the ones in that room where they come out of the dust in like the warehouse and they all are underneath in the dust. We were getting our I want to say rocked, but I'll mark it down. Sorry, Nick. We were getting our ass rocked because they just kept killing us in there and we could not for the life of me find one little heal. So I think that's a humble brag, Jacob.
That's funny. The ones that hit me most, there would be the guys with the big like hammer, and I'd be like, "Oh, I won't let those get close to me." And then they throw it at you.
Yeah,
just
concrete.
And you're like, "That's rude."
Over and over.
Chunk of concrete.
Yeah,
Jacob,
I did enjoy like popping every head of every zombie. Like I know that we would get through the game faster if I didn't kill every zombie, and we don't have to kill every zombie. But I just really I like blowing their heads off.
I mean, and they give you points. So
yeah, I gotta exchange my crypto.
There was Matthew Wingo said that they were getting some big Seattle Day One vibes from The Last of Us Part 2 with the kind of open thing. I was actually thinking about, Blake, The Evil Within 2 as another like open world survival horror game, which I think maybe part of the problem with this section is that like the game can't really give you that cool rewards. I mean, there was actually, I take it back. You get like a new rifle and stuff. So that's cool. So there was some benefit to exploration, but a lot of stuff was like, oh, I go there and I just get a new box and there's like some ammo in it, but the game is already going to dynamically give me ammo. So I'm not going to run back. But like I admired what they were trying to do. But at the same time, I was like, if this is their proof of concept for making a more open Resident Evil game generally, I don't think I am convinced. Like the Grace section just felt Is everyone on the same page that like the opening Grace section is kind of the best part of the
It's
game?
the best. It's like
Yeah.
my favorite Resident Evil
Yep.
section, I
Yeah.
think, in general, overall. It really feels like they have a pie chart somewhere in the office and they fill it up with how many minutes it's survival and how many minutes it's action. You know what I mean? And they're like, ooh, we're getting it's a little bit too far in the action. Get some survival, like some horror in there. It's just like interesting to see them try to balance it. But no matter what, the survival horror stuff still ends up being my favorite, I think, even though Leon feels like an amazing breath of fresh air power trip after the really hard Grace parts. My favorite moments stick out as the Grace parts.
Yeah, for sure. Here's another. I'm so glad someone wrote in with this because I kept thinking this. Reed says, why does the Raccoon City combat music include zombie vocalizations? It was driving me
What?
crazy that in the combat music, when Leon starts fighting, there's just a little zombie sound effect that goes like, and then it's like, well, so that's not even a guy. Like, that's just in the music. And I was like, this is a game that taught us to listen for when the zombies were making noise, and then they just put it in the music.
I never noticed that.
Ticked me
Symbolism for
off.
how the zombies are always there.
That's right. Now, what's the symbolism for this, Sarah? Cree McGee wrote in and said there was graffiti on a wall that just said graffiti. Like the
Nice.
word graffiti.
That says we'll edit it in post. I don't know. That says I don't know. Just write something.
But it was in graffiti
like-
font. They said, is this fun stupid or stupid stupid?
I think that's fun, stupid.
I think fun's stupid because the alternative is AI making the graffiti, and I'd rather the graffiti just say graffiti.
Just
Yeah.
say something stupid then.
Yeah.
What was the game we? I'm so sorry. It's not important, but like, what was
No,
the game we
what?
played, Jacob? Where they like hired real graffiti artists to like spray paint it, and they put was it the first Darkness?
I think
game?
that was the darkness.
Yeah, there was like a whole like making of video we saw where they
Cool.
like actually made. Oh, it was super. sick.
They hired graffiti artists to just cover like an entire wall that they bought out, and then they photo scanned all of that and put it
yes.
into the game, and
That's
so it was
so
like
cool.
real
Dude.
tags.
The Darkness games are rad, man. Y'all gotta check those mother.
Hey, Digital Extremes, stop making Warframe your game that probably makes like $1 billion a day, and get back to making the game that Grace.
forgot.
Boy, can I like it. So, highlights of the Leon section. We talked about there's a big spider fight early on.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, this game proving that they can put a big guy in a small room, this time a zombie. Ashton C. said, since the big Resident Evil revival starting at 7, it feels like they've stopped using giant spiders. Speaking as an arachnophobe, I felt pretty safe playing these games, and then this came out of nowhere. In contrast, Sky Fellowship said, when I entered Raccoon City, I genuinely paused the game and said out loud, please, please, Capcom, give me a spider. So some people hate the spider, some people love the spider.
I was so hyped when the spider showed up.
I'm a big fan of spiders in games. I totally feel bad for the arachnophobes if it's just like a straight up thing you can't enjoy. But like, it works so well for this because spiders literally have their big fat butt that's like perfect to shoot grenades and missiles at. Like it's like a animal bug that's designed to be shot at if it
has a
was
weak
huge.
point.
Yeah, it has a built-in, like everything else is so small and delicate and like you don't aim at it. It's just, and of course they put the big pustules all over the big fat spider butt, and it's like, of course, shoot at it. Like they don't even need those explanations or those bullet points. I was like, shoot the butt, quick. Like
Yeah, it
it's just
definitely
a natural
felt-
fit.
Surprising, but I was glad by like the change that it's like not a humanoid zombie or like a big mush puddle of a person. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and it fought the same way as like the chunk fight, but it still hits different just based off of how much more fast the spider is, the environment you're in, all that kind of stuff. Trying to time
Yeah, I
the
like that it
gasoline
would-
chuck so that it lights the thing on fire, like that kind of stuff.
I liked when it would leave and you would just be kind of looking around and be like,
yeah.
where is it going to scuttle in from?
Yeah.
I like this comment from Mustafa Saleban, that said they got a massive Chernobyl vibe from the Raccoon City exclusion zone, and then pointed out that Leon, Sherry, and many of the survivors of the Raccoon City are suffering from a terminal illness similar to how many of the victims of Chernobyl were people who died from cancers years or decades after the disaster. I thought that was a cool comment. Here's another good one. Villas says, who printed and delivered the newspapers for the last reporter in the
I was
Raccoon
thinking
City
about.
I was
Salad?
screaming about that.
I brought that up and everybody was like, oh, well, it took a few days for the and I'm like, no, did this man write this, print this, and then deliver it if he's the last worker?
Yeah, he.
Yeah, I love
definitely was
that
working overtime.
that article is written with the urgency of guy scrawling on a Post-it note in blood, but there's a whole stack.
Like, surely, like, the internet existed back then. Like, it wasn't, like, Raccoon City, like, they had, like, TV and messaging, so, like, why are we disseminating newspapers?
Villa says, I'm curious what the horoscope and funny pages had in
Yes.
this issue.
What were the ads?
Yeah,
Who
like,
placed
that-
ads
that
in
was
that
the-
paper?
That was a whole issue. Like, that was just the front page. So that's really interesting to think. Like,
Maybe
there
it's
was other
Like a
going on
review
that
of
day.
the movie that had just come out.
Yeah, like there was other stuff going on. Fascinating.
The other kind of set pieces, which were very, very, very kind of like big. I liked shooting the glass out from under the zombies.
That was
I thought that was
awesome.
fun. Kind of a Spec Ops: The Line mechanic.
Kind of. Oh my god, yeah.
The mortars were very silly, but I didn't like when you see like a zombie in Resident Evil 4, they have catapults, and you're like, okay, I believe those possessed, cultists could fire a catapult.
Yes.
This is just like a dried out husk of a zombie that's using sophisticated military equipment.
typing in the
But it was-
coordinates. Like,
Yeah, but I was still like, this is fine.
It did make me think of that one Resident Evil 4 room that you get trapped in with all those cultists with like the catapults and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, so this is a callback to that. At least they let you use them. Once I figured out that you
Yeah.
could just go up there and use them and fire upon the zombies, I was like, okay, now we're gaming.
Yes.
and they
That
clump them
was fun.
together very purposefully, so it'll be a big splash when you hit them. Like, they know you want to have fun. They're not just giving you that for nothing.
What? There aren't that many, but did y'all find favorite weapons during this section? Was like one gun in particular that you were rolling with?
We were big rifle fans because we had the attachment that made like if you took the scope off, rifle did more damage. So we were doing
That's
that.
the one. I wanted to
Yeah.
bring this up, so I'm glad you are.
God, that was so strong. And then we got the new rifle by opening one of the BSAA vans. Gave us a new sniper rifle, and we probably for 25 minutes debated which we're holding them up, we're looking through the scopes, taking the scope off, holding them up, we're trying to find one zombie left to test the headshot capabilities of them. It was very serious work. But that
And what did you
definitely-
go with?
With the old tried and true, the A70. We kept using the A70.
I'm sorry, Haley. Wrong answer.
Oh no, the other one's way better.
Because the new one is like, yes, the old one, because I'm always like, I want to take the more powerful thing, especially limited ammo, you get more bang for your buck. And so I was thinking about the old one. The new one will still pretty much one-shot headshot any zombie, and it holds 15 rounds and it's semi-auto. So it can basically completely replace your pistol as just like the god gun. And when you take the scope off and attach that charm, especially, which is the same thing that I did, I was like, this is the only gun I'm going to use for the rest of the game. And I pretty much did.
It was probably our emotional support gun, and we were too scared for change, I think, maybe was what it
Although
was.
I
wasn't
feel
it?
like they tried to push you onto the machine gun, and I'm not usually like a big
Yeah.
machine gun person, but they were definitely trying to get you to use that. 'Cause I
They
usually
kept
just
giving
never
you
use
ammo
it.
for it.
Yes,
Maybe so
and I
much.
usually just never use it, but the game definitely it was trying to push me into using it.
They were good for the liquor part, because you could just, if there was a big clump of them, you just start spraying them all over the place. But other than that, yeah, every other bullet we picked up was 40 rounds for the frickin' assault rifle, and we just didn't want to use it. We almost put it away, but then we only kept it because they give us so much ammo for it. That's kind of very
And-
common in Resident Evil, though. I feel like they're always pushing the SMG.
I guess, but usually I don't take it because it's like I don't want to collect the ammo for the machine gun. And in this game specifically, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think the machine gun could stagger the enemies, so you couldn't then do your kick on them, which is the most fun part of playing as Leon, is you get to kick a guy. And so when I realized like the machine gun I can't even kick them with it, I was disappointed, but I kept it around for like when the spiders would show up or other things, just something that you needed to kind of be able to one tap them. Blake, you got any fave guns?
I used like all the starting weapons except for the shotgun, which I got one of the new ones, but I just fully upgraded the starting weapons and crushed it, man. I'm just really good. I don't know.
Commenter Bread says, would it have killed Capcom to give Leon's store boxes a fun computer voice or something?
Yeah.
This franchise has such a spotty track record with instantly iconic merchant characters, often followed by literal boxes with no personality that you pump money into.
Oh man, this
I
reminds
agree.
me of my partner and I watched the first Resident Evil movie, and the AI when they're stuck in the lab is like a little British girl, and she's a bee. Like she's such a jerk, and it's a character at that point. Like they're like, open the door. She's like, I don't want to, and they're like, open the door. Like it just added such a better element. Something like that, and this would have been great.
Paul Thomas Anderson, man, he's a genius. He should have consulted on this game. Paul W.S. Anderson, not Paul Thomas.
Like, no one's gonna get that joke.
That was not a joke.
Winning Oscars.
That was an actual Freudian slip. Paul W.S. Anderson is what I meant to say.
I did like the section in this where Leon finds the body cam footage of the BSAA agent and just watches all those dudes get like blown apart.
Yeah.
I think that weirdly the modern Resident Evils are very good at those sequences where you're watching someone else's film. Like those are kind of the scariest parts of 7 are like seeing that. And so I liked just seeing these dudes get taken apart by Xeno.
Do you guys get such a rock in your stomach when games do that? When it's like you walk up and they've been dead for 20 years and they're just skeletons, but then you find a piece of media and they're human again, and then you feel sad and your empathy goes a little too off
I
the
mostly think
rocker.
like I don't want to fight what they fought, because usually it's setting you up for a bad, like this is what's going to happen to you, and I'm like, oh no, that seemed hard.
It's so
Not in this
easy to
game,
run
though.
by them when there's
Xeno's out of there.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's coming in the DLC. I'm calling it.
I think you're right. That or
Him
Alyssa,
and Chris Redfield are going to make out. That's what the DLC is.
Chris
called.
has got to be in the DLC. He's got to be.
There's a lot to think about. There were a number of references to 5 specifically that I was interested in. Like when you go into that big door in the bottom, you don't just see the Umbrella logo. You also see the logo of the chemical Tricell, which is the company from 5. And Chris is obviously, big 5 guy. And that's the one where Wesker's the final boss.
Oh.
We talked about it last episode, but it's like 4 just like it's gone. It doesn't matter anymore. Like they just not retcon, but they just kind of like leave
Please don't
that in the
talk
past.
about it.
Yeah, because
weird?
this game is all
strange.
about Leon's PTSD from 2, and there is no reference to like, remember when I fought that little Napoleon guy?
And I guess like 6 at least acknowledged it in the sense that like he was still the president's bodyguard, right? But so you know how that worked out. But like it's the most important one, and the series has just like washed its hands of it. Resident Evil 4,
Is it
outside the
'cause-
remake, of course.
Do you think it's because that one is too silly? Like Resident Evil is silly,
I mean,
but
it
that
is-
one's silly.
It is very standalone, right? Like
Yeah.
outside
Yeah.
of like the opening scroll, you don't really need to know much to
Yeah.
fully get in there.
Yeah.
But it's just so weird. Of all the games, that's the one that feels like
It gives her a
Forgotten.
little
I
embarrassed
don't
to
know.
reference it. Yeah, that's the energy.
Why?
Yeah,
It's like
They're
so
embarrassed
good.
of it because it was like their best-selling game.
I know, but
Like,
then now they're like, but
remade it
now the story is
lavishly.
this, and this is
I
how
think
the
it didn't
story
have
is.
enough acronyms in it. Like they needed to lean on the other games and all the acronym organizations that weren't really like they were in for, but it wasn't, everybody. It wasn't like the gang's all here. It's let's fight over bioweapons and who wants to be the biggest terrorist.
it's so weird too, because like Resident Evil 9, like the mutated T virus is not wholly dissimilar from the Las Plagas, which allows some kind of like brain control, you know, like the ideas like they're sort of being possessed by Sadler or whatever. Like, so there are, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. That's why we're here talking.
It's just like, it's so of, I just feel like they pulled the journalist mom from like a PS2 online only Resident Evil game, and like, she's so important, we have to have her in here. And it's like, not the game that you get it. You get what I'm saying, but it's just weird to me.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting also, and there are a number of comments, and there's an article that I think Harper wrote for Kotaku maybe, that it's like, it's weird with how much these Resident Evil games have been bringing back their like old men, that they ain't like, Resident Evil has like so many women protagonists that they could be old Leonifying, and they're not. You know, like there were a number of people, Michael, Raccoon Ray, Manta, who were just like, where's Claire? You know, like, why isn't there any reference to Claire in this? Where's Jill? You know, it kind of like, are they also going to be allowed to get old? It would be cool in Resident Evil 10 if you had like another, you know, if it was another dual protagonist game.
Yeah.
If at least one of those was Claire or Jill.
Yeah,
or,
I feel like they just don't want
Ada
them to
or
be
someone.
old. Like, they don't know what to do with them aged, and they're like, we
So
always
they
need
can
a
make
new
old
one.
Leon hot, but they don't think they can make old Jill.
Well,
Capcom
no, but the thing
can't
is
make a
like,
MILF.
women are more accepting of old men being hot than men are accepting of old women being hot. Like, that's just a fact, right? Like, women will support men ride or die as
Go
they
feral
age. Like,
as they
actors and
age.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, actors can age, and they're like, oh, he's just getting hotter. Women, you hit that, they call you Christmas cake. Like, you hit that post-Christmas cake date. Yeah, you have never heard of that?
I
In
have
Japan,
heard that.
I've told you before, but in Japan, there's this concept of Christmas cake. Essentially, it's that nobody wants to eat Christmas cake after December 25th. So, like, nobody wants anything to do with women past the age of 25. And, like, they call you Christmas cake if you're older than 25.
Another country very normal about women, just like ours. I think that I hear you. I think that the people, you know, men in gaming are obviously terrible. Everyone loves calling characters mommy and talking about, like, I think they could make a hot, older, you know, version of Jill or Claire and not have people go crazy, but maybe I'm giving everyone too much credit.
I think we're both right. And I think it is weird. And I feel like it is noticeable that, like, we should say something, because it does feel like they pick up and discard, like, female characters so much more. Especially with the ending. Chris again, I'm sorry. That was my response to the ending of the game. I'm a Chris hater.
It's just a guy who looks exactly like Chris. And
But he said Chris said, I'm not Chris, but I'm sent by Chris.
Where is Ada?
Yes.
Where is Ada?
Where is Ada?
Where is Ada? I was
Where
looking
is
on
Ada?
every.
Where
I
is
was
Ada?
looking for it the whole game.
I know. You saw
Where
her teddy
is
bear
she?
charm. That was all, though.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember the DLC, the Separate Ways remake that they did? That was so good. Oh my god.
Do you guys also think it's that they want to save characters for 10, 11, 12, whatever? Like, they can't give us every single one in 9 and then be like, okay, now we have to create all new characters. We can't keep doing this. It's going to get, like, it's really fresh right now. But if they do this 2 more times, we're going to be like, oh, okay, come on, like, give us more.
Well, let's save that until we get to this conversation of the kind of nostalgia idea, which will come up when we get to, like, the RPD more. First, we have to talk about a sequence where Leon jumps a motorcycle off a skyscraper.
Yes.
That's very
normal
important.
sequence. Yes.
Yeah.
It's so
Blake?
cool. So cool. I just like when they usually do pop up in Japanese action games, a barely controllable motorcycle sequence. Bayonetta has a great one where it's like, it's pure just for the vibes. And I'm just like, I'm barely doing anything here, and it's so sick. I was so into it.
I think
Emmett
my
Watkins
jaw
Jr.
dropped.
Yeah.
Blake, you have agreement from Emmett Watkins Jr., who said, not sure if it was my favorite part, but this was the giddiest I got the whole time. RE5 was my first RE game, and Bayonetta is my favorite game of all time, so I'm predisposed to love this moment. This makes me more certain Capcom should start making Dino Crisis games again on this engine.
God, it's just like, it's just fun. Who could ever play this section and be like, not my favorite? You're just like, wee! It's like you're on a Disney ride, the whole segment. It's so fun.
Look, I had fun. I think it's dumb as hell.
That's the point, it's so fun, though! Yeah,
but
they're supposed to be dumb.
Again, I think that... look, this is purely through the lens of nostalgia. I think when Leon is on the minecart in Resident Evil 4, that is dumb and silly, and I don't think, so he's an Avenger. And in this, I'm like he knocks a building down with an RPG and then rides up it, and you can't see what's on the other side of it.
Like the Mission Impossible movies, where the whole idea is a 4-foot Scientologist is God. Shut up.
The reason that those movies are good is because he does it and he like almost dies every time. You know, it's like seeing Leon jump off that skyscraper and be like, is he just going to fall 700 feet? And then there's like magically another skyscraper on the other side that he lands on.
It's sick as hell, and Leon has plot armor.
What do you want?
Like when Gideon shows up, when you have your motorcycle, and then all of a sudden like Gideon shows up on his motorcycle, and he's got the rocket launcher. You're like, what the hell?
This might change your tune, Sarah. Ryan D said, sorry, but I got the ick from seeing Dr. Gideon poorly using a rocket launcher and then just falling off a cliff like some kind of NPC. Yes. Also, knowing that he was sitting around on a broken highway all day waiting for me is giving desperation.
He's obsessed with Leon.
He's obsessed.
He touches his little cheek. He rubs his hair. He's in love with Leon.
The weirdest part was when they had you joust on your motorcycle with your guns.
Which is
why are we driving at each other
Mission
while we're
Impossible
shooting?
2. Blake, to your credit, that is absolutely the finale of Mission Impossible 2.
Why do we need to drive towards each other to shoot the gun, the bullet? The bullets are gonna go toward. Why do we have to drive at the same time?
There was just a moment I'm playing some footage for the video listeners, and Gideon turns around and shoots at Leon, and Leon goes like this and is ducking, but the bullets just happen to shoot under him and hit like the bars of the motorcycle. Like he could have not moved at all and not been hit, and he's just like just doing nothing. So silly.
Be Dr. Fun Police again, I was like, this is what Gideon's doing? Like the whole time, it's like, he's kind of like
do?
Science or something.
He's like, what's fun is like he looks like a zombie. He's like, he's an evil guy, but it's like, wait, this guy's smart. He plans. He's like set this whole thing up to catch Grace. He caught Leon, by choking him out very
essentially. To be fair, like they all showed up on his doorstep and he choked them out. He's more of an opportunist.
That is true. But I was just kind of like this. The second half of this game, I felt like was Gideon character assassination, where I was like, what a cool guy in the first section. And I was like, oh no, I guess he's just like a big dumb idiot who turns into a monster. I like to think
that he saw that rocket launcher and he saw his opportunity to have a good time.
Do you know what it gives?
Because they're all just kind of waiting for Grace to like release Elpis. So like he has downtime. Like there's nothing he can do at this point.
Do you know what it kind of gives is, Twilight Princess was Xant? Like the whole first half, he's so scary and cool and awesome, and then the last like 10 minutes he's like oogity boogity boogity boogity, and I'm like, no, now he sucks. Like, why'd you do that?
I'm actually a loser and I have self-esteem issues, so I decided to be
and
evil.
I'm gonna have a little tantrum on the ground. Where it's like, what is this?
That is so funny. Speaking of Gideon, remember in the first half where he was like, now all my plans are complete, ha 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 ha. His plan needed Grace to type a password into a thing, and she was just gone. He didn't know she was in that room.
I guess he... Yeah.
he said
self-destructed the facility.
And then he self-destructed it. He's kind of just vibing. I think he's a little bit deranged in his old age.
Let me find the other people talk about how cool the motorcycle was for a second more while they find
I
the
was sad
motorcycle.
about shooting the dog enemies. I don't like when they make dog
They always have
zombies.
dogs.
But
It's
they don't need,
always
they do it with
dogs.
the Dobermans, and then they do it now again. These ones look like wolves. Leave dogs out of it, zombie bioweapon companies.
How much were the dogs? I need
were
to like
pretty
bring
cheap.
up.
Yeah, like pretty cheap.
I saw a video of someone going through and they like added up all of Leon Kennedy's swag in like real world dollars. I want someone to go through and count every single enemy in the game, how much money are those liquors, how much money
great.
for like the tyrant, how much money for the dogs, like how much money did Leon
Show Plus
and Grace like
Yeah.
explode. Get the
Wow.
Excel document
That would
going.
get so many clicks. How much did all the enemies cost in Resident Evil 9 Requiem?
It's an Eddie Austin video.
It is. I literally was thinking of Eddie Austin.
That's
Is that the
great.
guy with the thing there?
Yes, the how many trees are in Skyrim guy.
That's a good one for him.
Just to finish off the motorcycle sequence, Brain Freeze said, "I've never been as confident that Capcom will remake Resident Evil 5 and 6 as I was playing this. They just can't get it out of their system."
We need to, I
I
need
think
to
it's
finish
cool.
that. I need to finish 5. I got like halfway.
Haley, I'll play
So-
a co-op with you.
I've already taken that spot.
She already
Yeah, I said
dibs.
I'd play it with
Yeah.
Blake,
I already-
and then he
I already
said
dibs it.
that I
We can,
refused
what
in
if
the
we all
past.
play it co-op at the same time? Sarah and I, you two.
I actually have a question about how you two played Resident Evil 9. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you live in separate countries?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. I thought so.
Sarah's my
how
roommate.
did you
She's
both...
in the room next door.
Yeah, let me
That
I'll
would
come over.
shatter my entire
I
conception
just
of
walk
reality.
in the background.
That would destroy me because I used to live in the same city as Sarah, and Haley, you weren't there. anyway,
We use
Parsec.
a
How
software
do you all
called
play it
Parsec.
together?
We use a software called Parsec,
Oh,
and it allows somebody to remotely control your desktop.
right.
So basically,
Yeah,
she
perfect. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
and basically she remotely controls my desktop, and then she can play the game. So it's like
Okay.
it
Yeah,
works perfectly most of the time, and that's how we play all of our co-op games. And we literally like hand the controller back and forth via
You just have to
that
put
way.
it down and go, and that means I'm done.
Wow,
how you pass
interesting.
it on,
Okay,
so.
I remember Parsec when COVID first started. That's how the press did. Like,
It's honestly like
That's how-
it's free and
that's-
it works perfect. I'm surprised,
But
more
don't
people
blow up
use
our
it.
spot, because I'm worried that they're gonna start charging me because it is free.
Oh no!
I remember playing 12 minutes over Parsec. Y'all remember 12 minutes?
Oh yeah,
I try not to.
Let's talk about the ending
I
plot
try
points of that
not
game.
to.
man, that's trippy. I just had a memory. I was on a road trip when I was listening to your review of that at Game Informer, Blake. You know, and like
I thought it was a good game. Don't get me started. On
Okay,
12
let me
minutes.
start.
I think it's pretty good. I think the controversy was dumb. Don't get me started.
it's not. Don't get him started.
It's a good game.
Okay.
Don't get me started.
Let's get started instead on the Raccoon City Police Department, which is where Leon shows up after his big motorcycle ride. We had seen this in the trailers, which I think is a real bummer. I wish that this had been a surprise. I think that would have been really cool. But I still thought it was pretty damn cool. I really liked this section. Did it work for everyone?
My question is, like the reason that they had to bring Grace to the police station was to just show her a video? I'm confused by why they had to make a pit stop at the police station and then hop over to Ark.
Now, I don't know the answer to that question.
Because
Because I kind of feel like I'm glad that we went back to the police station, but it was weird that they're like, and we're gonna make a pit stop.
well, maybe this is where
Didn't they just walk through it to get to the orphanage? And then...
Is the orphanage
the
just like next
lab?
door? I think. Well, the orphanage is close. We know the orphanage
Yeah.
is close, but isn't that where the entrance is to Ark?
that's
the
in
orphanage?
That's in the bottom of the orphanage. Yeah. So like, your
Yeah.
question is, why didn't you just watch the video at the orphanage?
Yeah,
why
I'm like,
they take a pit
well, I
stop
think
here?
it was on a computer at the police station,
Okay.
right? But I was just confused as to why they had to bring Grace to the police station.
Maybe
that's my bad.
Mr. X was here, so maybe they were trying to lure Leon here to distract him, and they could leave with Grace or something. I don't know. Because
They were like,
kind of
this guy, he doesn't know how to handle Mr. X. We can't think of a time he did that.
Yeah, I guess there's not a real reason, but it's also kind of like, at this point with these games, I'm like, they could just be like, let's go this way. I like the color green. And I'm like, noted. And I just run that way. I don't really care.
I liked the RPD, and I liked it especially because you didn't have to do that much in it, and it was just like, hey, remember this? Like, it didn't belabor the point. I think if I had to do like 10 hours in that motherfucker, like if it was a whole new dungeon, I would not have been as stoked about it. But I like going in there. You find that weird Rebecca Chambers photo if you really want to, you perverts, and then you get out of there. It's pretty.
Yeah,
cool
it was a lot
for
of
me.
like, it was like one giant nostalgia Easter egg, and all you really had to do was walk in, eavesdrop on Grace and Zeno, and then combat another Mr. X. Like, see, what I thought was a great throwback, because I was like, oh, like, this is the library that Mr. X would chase me around in, and I would pee my pants out of fear. Like, oh my god, such fun memories. And then they were like, you want to do it again? And I'm like, no!
Yeah, I thought the Mr. X section was cool. I thought that was neat that they brought him back.
God, did you guys get stabbed by the plane?
Yes.
Holy
The helicopter?
3 times.
God, yeah.
Where did that
3
come
times.
from?
I don't know.
We were just, it like popped out of the wall, and Haley and I were just staring at it because it was moving.
So I was just like, wow. And then,
And
Yeah,
it was,
I did the same thing. I was like, am I supposed to like run under this? No.
and then all of a sudden we were
That's-
impaled on it.
Yeah.
just sliced in half. It was such a brutal animation.
Also, we did watching Mr. X, or I don't know if this is a different one, but
Mr.
like
Y.
watching him rip Leon Kennedy in half. He literally tears him in half, and we had to.
He holds him like a Barbie
was-
and then just
It was
goes.
traumatizing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked. I loved the wandering around while there was basically no one there. I mean, honestly, it's similar to what I talked about in the first one of it's fun to play the flashback and then play the same location in the present. You know, this game is very much it is remembering things in the past, and I think the fact that they did not fill it with enemies and it was just kind of like walk around here and think about it really worked for me as a Resident Evil 2 fan. If you're not, you know, if you did not have the memory of that police station, I have to imagine that it hit less. But this was what I mentioned in the beginning. This was our most common comment, is just people kind of talking about like, what do we like this section? You know, Gianni says, are we ever going to break out of the never-ending cycle of nostalgia bait? The care center was already a nice homage to RE2. Did we need the actual place? But then Adam S. says, not sure I understand the complaints about nostalgia bait. The main theme of both characters is re-engaging with past trauma in order to move forward. What better way than to have Leon return to RPD fully leveled up and able to kick all the ass? I also want to call out a Kotaku article by Harper J. McIntyre. It's called Resident Evil Requiem Confronts the Franchise's Burdensome Past to Save Its Future, where they make the argument, similar to one that I made about Dark Souls 3, that like all the nostalgia of this game is basically like, we need to finish it off. Like, it is necessary to have this confrontation with this enormous shadow of what the franchise has been in order to now move forward. That will be contradicted if in the future games they keep doing like, hey, remember this thing. But as it currently stands, I liked going back here. I liked how haunted this place felt.
I think it would have been weird to go back to Raccoon City and not go to the police station.
Yeah.
Like, I think they had to, and I think they did a really, like, I also liked walking through it. In like the light of day, the ceiling's blown out, like knowing that you're not really in too much danger. I just wish they had like a better reasoning of why I was there. Cause I was like, am I just here to like walk down memory lane? And the game's like, well, yeah. And I was like, okay.
There's like literally one zombie in this area. Yeah.
And it's a throwback. It's a
Yeah.
throwback zombie.
James B. says, funniest moment of Leon dialogue for me was brutally beating the zombie cop to death and Leon morosely saying, rest easy, officer.
Oh my God.
After you've like kicked his head off.
Yeah, I haven't played 2. But I've played Dead by Daylight, so I have a weird relationship with this level, and you can just go watch our playthrough to hear me explain where every pallet is. But it was very weird to walk in here with that being my only experience, because everything was familiar, but like all the Sarah had to keep telling me that's not a puzzle, that's not a puzzle, that's not a puzzle, because I just straight up didn't know. I'm like, why are they showing me this if it's not a puzzle? Like, this person's jaw is missing. Oh, that's a reference to something else. Like, I didn't get any of those references, so it was fun, but at points I was just like, what? Like, oh, I have to go find someone's jaw and then I'll slot it in and it'll unlock something? That's a weird puzzle. It's like, no, it's just like, was a reference, but it went over my head, so it just confused me.
Did you folks see Tofu?
No.
I didn't either. But 20 Uno says my biggest jump scare in the game was the Tofu Easter egg. Because there are like various parts through the police station where if you just look out a window at the right time, you'll see the unlockable Tofu character from Resident Evil 2 just running around. And so it's funny
tofu?
that Haley, do you know that you can play as a giant block of tofu in Resident Evil 2?
No.
That is a thing, and that was actually in the original as well.
Oh my god. So it's just flopping around outside if you look outside?
Yes, it's
That's
just flopping around outside.
We heard it, but we never saw it.
We
there
heard
was like
boing,
a thumping.
boing, boing
Yeah.
or something. Was that it?
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's funny.
Did you guys like the welcome Leon sign that
Yeah,
Zeno
I liked that it was
there?
it was Leon, we come, and I was like, yeah, we
We
do.
come Leon.
Hell yeah, we do.
So you which happens first? Do you go to Kendo's first, or do you
After
you
that's
run from
second.
Mr. X a little bit and then you go to Kendo's, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's that part where you are literally one room away from Mr. X and Leon says like, phew, glad that's over. It's like, Leon, he's like one room back.
I know, and also you can walk through walls.
Yeah, he's really good at chasing you.
Yeah, I didn't get that. That was a weird moment where you quote unquote got away, but all it was walking through an open door and he just happened to not follow you through it. It didn't feel like you stopped him from chasing you. It felt like he was just like, I hope he doesn't come over here. Oh, well, time to keep exploring. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
It was a bit weird.
There are a couple good comments about Kendo's, going into Kendo's and the kind of feelings there. Russ A said when Leon stopped into Kendo's and was reflecting on not being able to save them, I legitimately got a little emotional. I'm not sure if it was some self-reflection, since I remember late nights with friends eating pizza and playing the original RE2. I was just surprised that a franchise as silly as Resident Evil was making me a little misty-eyed. And Paolo says... he says something along the lines of, I was helpless back then, but I can make a difference now. I wasn't quite sure what to make of that. Is he still in this line of work because of these past regrets? Is his career the ultimate act of remembrance, parentheses, Requiem, for those that have been lost? This whole segment seems to motion towards some recontextualization of the prior games that I found compelling for its 30th anniversary send-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, making Leon have, like, pathos is an interesting choice, because he doesn't, certainly in 4, he does not seem like a guy who is, like, interested in remembering the past or feels bad about stuff.
Mm-hmm. That would track.
And he
with
did shoot a little girl earlier, but he doesn't feel bad about that.
but not her vitals. He's growing. He's a
Yeah,
different
no vitals
man.
since she was a monster.
Yeah, that tracks with the shorter ending, which we don't have to talk about yet. But that kind of connects with that what you were talking about, Sarah, of like, an arc for Leon. How delicious! Like I feel like he never really gets an arc. It's usually just kind of like, here I go again. Oh man, another one bites the
they
dust.
seem like, like when you play Resident Evil 4, like he seems so like, he's like, oh, where's everybody going? Bingo? Like he doesn't really seem to contend with the horrors that he sees sometimes. And it definitely feels like they're like, okay, now Leon has a complex. He has a complex about saving people specifically. Because it said, like, you can't save anyone was the note that he found. And he's like, now he's really big on saving people. And I mean, he always was. He's like a hero in that way. But they're definitely, they gave him a bit of a character development sub-story.
It kind of gives he saves people because that's his job. He was an officer and he's got to go do this work. Whereas now he's just saving people because it's in his DNA. Sort of thing.
Well, wasn't it because he didn't feel like he could save people well enough in Raccoon City because he was like a new person on the force. Like, I
And
thought
just
that
everyone
was
was
like what
dying
they were
around him.
referencing. Yeah, is that he felt like he didn't do enough in Raccoon City.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also has like the physical manifestations, metaphorical manifestations of trauma growing on him, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's Paul Buffano said exactly the same thing. Yeah, his infection as a metaphor for other traumas. Like his sickness, Leon tries to hide that past rather than reckon with his perceived failure.
He's got his gloves on.
Yeah, I thought that's why I kind of was like, I think if they made the virus that he had, I realized it would have been different. But if they were like, hey, we thought we cured it in 4, but actually it has been like slowly growing this whole time, I thought that would be interesting in a way to like pull in 4 as affecting him as well, because he isn't like he's fully, he almost dies from the infection in 4.
Yeah.
it kind of made me think like, is the Las Plagas still in him a little bit? But then, of course, it's not. But
Yeah, but I thought, you know, it's like Leon's a weird character. We talked about at the beginning. He starts blowing people away in the streets literally seconds after they were like thinking people in the beginning of this game. And so giving him like guilt for those he couldn't save feels a little weird. But I like how they like, you can find that note that is really laying it on of like, hey, the new guy's coming today. Like, Leon, let's all try to be nice to him. And it's like, damn, that would, if it was your first day at this job and you watched all your coworkers die horribly,
Just die.
that would affect you for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Do you think they're kind of dancing between, they want a juxtaposition between Grace, who checks for vitals and stuff, right? Like, that's a fun thing to compare him to,
Yes.
versus we also want him to have an arc where he becomes a better person. Because when you bring up that scene where literally the girl bites that guy's nose off, and then like 8 seconds later it's fine to kill her, and he's just doing that pew, 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 shooting everybody, that really conflicts with his arc thing, but that works great with the Grace comparison. And it's kind of like they want their cake and eat it too. Like, they want someone to compare against Grace, but also they want him to grow as a human being, and those two concepts kind of clash.
Yeah, which maybe they should have let him die. Maybe the good ending, he should have also died. We'll talk about it. The David C says the Mr. X fight felt fairly uninspired. Did anyone else think it was too easy? Yes. I was like, I rolled my eyes a little at Mr. X coming back, even though I like the chase section, but like, that boss fight sucked IMO, especially when I can remember the boss fight at the end of 2, which doesn't suck and is good. I was let down by a number of the Leon boss fights, which I felt were pretty stale.
I felt like they shrunk them a little bit. Like, all the boss
just, like, I just
fights
shot
were
him
like
with a Requiem,
shorter.
you know, and then
I did like parrying him. I did
yeah.
a lot of I discovered parrying in this section of the game, and it turns out you could just parry everything.
you could parry like cars.
Man, we
I hear you.
That really late, Sarah. We like discovered the parry button, and we got the achievement for parry your first enemy at like 7 hours in.
Well, there just like didn't seem like to be a need for it, because nobody was really, you know, we could just
everyone
pop
was
them
going
from a
down
distance.
in one shot.
Yeah, this felt like it was some kind of grudge match that the game wanted to give you with this guy from 2.
I hear you, but as a guy playing it on a deadline, an easy boss fight, I was pretty relieved. Gotta say, did not mind at all. I was like, hey, short and sweet, to the point.
Look, if you love easy boss fights, you'll love this comment from DJ, who says, I just read through 18 pages of comments and not one person mentioned the weird plant enemies in the plant boss fight. Was that the most forgettable part of the game?
I thought that I was losing my mind when that happened. I thought I was hallucinating that entire underground section.
Yeah, that does feel like a lucid dream down in there. It was so shoved
And
in.
the fact that there was a boss, and it was like right after this part, there was another mini boss.
Yeah.
I really like that and the spider because they're callbacks to the plants from like RE1, like plant I think 43 and everything. Like those are like specific.
In 2, you fight plant enemies as well, right?
Yeah. Like plants are very much experimented on by Umbrella because they're weirdos over there. So I thought all that was cool. Like,
they say in like the thing about how much you pay for the plant that like this one specifically escaped.
Yeah.
But it was such a weird, it was kind of like the Grace Emily fight, where it was a very weird short stint between two different places and ended with a boss fight, and you were like, and then suddenly it doesn't matter anymore, which I didn't mind. I liked that it was short. I wouldn't want it to be longer, but it's definitely one of those goes like, oh, you look back on it and you're like, oh yeah, that did happen.
They did put some plants in there.
Yeah. I have a question about Raccoon City that isn't answerable. How big is the city? Because at one point, you do the whole Leon section, which is like, all the relays and everything. And as far as I can tell, you're in a pretty big city right there, right?
Yeah.
Like a good size. And then Sherry's like, all right, drive to city center. And Leon's straight up like, okay, it's 16 miles away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I live in New York City, which is a big city by American standards. And it's like less than 10 miles from tip to the fucking farms. Like, are you out of your mind? So
New York is a very condensed city. If he was in like Houston,
but still,
that's like their American sprawl, maybe more.
But I feel like even in Houston, 16 miles, you're getting to the suburbs at least. Like where you are doing the relay stuff is like city.
Yes, I agree.
But you're not in the center. That's crazy. I guess.
I also thought as when we repeatedly see the map of Raccoon City, if you go into Leon's thing, and the kind of nuclear crater is like off to the side, and are we to understand that is actually like, was that the epicenter of the city and it's just fully gone, or did they explode it kind of next to the city instead of right on top of it?
They conveniently missed because you still need to visit the police station.
Yeah, well, and as we find out, the nuclear bomb was to conceal the virus? There is some interesting retconning. It reminded me of my least favorite James Bond movie, Spectre, where they bring in Christoph Waltz and he's like, hey, James Bond, everything bad that happened to you, that was me. And then you like think about the previous movies and you're like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how did you trap Vesper in an elevator or whatever? And it was like, I think the bomb thing mostly worked, but I was at the same time like, this is a major rewriting of Resident Evil history.
Did they also do that to who dropped the bomb? Because they were like, it's this organization, and then they were like, but was it? And they're like, we actually think it was this organization.
Didn't they imply that it was the government itself that did it?
Yeah, but aren't they like, we don't know who like hit the order? Or do they say that
they talk about that when you're in the lab area. Like,
the president was assassinated? Yeah,
like somebody went around the presidential authority and was like, just send it. And they were like, okay. And then they hit the go shoot that thing button.
You got reflective sunglasses. We trust you.
Go for it. Yeah.
So then, after a number of big action-y Leon sequences, a wild flashback. We are suddenly in an orphanage in 1999 with the world's most evil little bald girls.
Man, the way I started out annoyed when I was like, you're really going to make me do this slow, cumbersome and the way I got real scared, but still was a little annoyed that I had to play this. Was not stoked when it started.
Yeah, it felt like it was supposed to be this game's Resident Evil 8, the baby, or whatever. Like, I felt like I was supposed to be more scared than I was.
I was kind of scared. Those little
or just the Resident Evil
scary.
2 orphanage section, which is because it's like you play as like that little girl, right? When you're trying to escape from the guy.
Sherry Birkin. Sherry Birkin.
Yeah, of course. Vincent Ward said, like every other modern Resident Evil title, there's a pre-third act section where the devs are like, what if we made the same game except it sucked? RE2 remakes Orphanage, RE3 remakes Carlos section, and now in Requiem we have another Orphanage section.
I do, though, want to shout out when you go downstairs, the little hand slapping the window.
That was awesome.
Very creepy. And then when you're hiding under the table and she drops.
She falls on her
second
freaking
floor.
neck.
God, that scared me.
The second floor.
I nearly sent my rate back to Ben and said, I quit. I'm not playing this. You can keep your money. But other than that, the section was boring and stupid.
Aza G said, I got comfortable playing Leon for the night. When this section started, I shat my pants. I considered giving up for the night. I was so damn scared.
Do we believe shat? I don't think so.
No.
Nah. It's British vibe.
And Brady G said, the notes in the lab under the orphanage were hilariously grim. Has there ever been a more evil sentence than, quote, the prospect of being able to freely experiment on those kids sends shivers of anticipation throughout my entire body.
That's
Jesus.
giving.
I was
That's
just
giving.
thinking about the poor Capcom employee and I guess localization people that just have that on their computer now because they had to type it into a text doc. And I was just like, oh man,
they're on
that's
some
so
list
sad.
somewhere, and they're like, "You don't understand. I was translating Resident Evil."
Yeah, there can't be an ambiguity.
No, you-
It's like these people have to be so 100% evil that you could just read the note really quickly and get on with your day.
I did think, you know what? Credit to these horrible, evil scientists. I was like, damn, they giving all these kids coffins? You know, like
Those were expensive looking.
That's interesting.
I was like, I thought they would just be throwing them into an
and
oven.
they didn't.
You know,
they
when
didn't
they're
have
done with
enough because,
experiments.
like, you saw the picture of all the little girls on the wall, and there are maybe only like 9 coffins there.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't think about the fact that they are doing them. They're making little girl coffins ready to go just to have them in the basement. Are they cremating them down there? There was also a mattress you jump onto that was covered in blood. A lot of questions down in the coffin room that I don't want answered, frankly.
Okay. So here's, and I apologize. I finished this game before GDC, which feels like 10 years ago to me right now. You are playing as young Grace?
No.
Are you
this
playing
is
as
where
Emily?
it gets confusing. You're playing as
are
a
you-
new child called Chloe.
Okay. And what does she do?
She's
She-
just running around the orphanage, Chloe.
She's one of the clones. She's one of the clones, but she hasn't had her brain experimented on like the other clones, which is what set them off to start being evil children. But that didn't happen to her, and you're just playing her trying to escape the orphanage. And my thing is what happened to Chloe? Because at the end they tackle her and they take her out. So it's like, does she die? I assume she's dead.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they're
Because,
setting
like,
it up for another girl, Chloe, at some point in the future of Resident Evil.
Because
that
it's
was, like,
kind of
1990.
Yeah.
the whole bait and switch is that you're supposed to think that Grace is like one of those, but she's
Yes.
not. And we will talk about that. There's some comments later, but I was kind of like, okay, so who are we being right now? I really like that part where there's the really dark stairs and then there's the toy fire truck and it drives down the stairs, kind of like the
the
trailer
little
for
light-
PT, which we have
little
all
light
watched
lights up.
1,000 times. And so then we go back. We're kind of descending into the earth as Leon. There's a part where there's like a big... It's like, did this all happen because of the nuclear bomb? It looks like a fault line has opened up in Raccoon City, and there are subway cars hanging across it, which is, I have to point out, very Evil Within. Like, that is just straight up a set piece from the Evil Within. And then Leon lowers himself to the ground, and then at the bottom of the ground, there is an enormous, elaborate door.
I love this door. I'm bringing it up on screen right now. This door is gorgeous. There's so much effort to the door. The way it opens, like the contraptions around it could have just been a door. They went hard with this door. This is a great door.
I do love an elaborate door.
I mean, it's like, I feel like they should have done the Portal 2 thing where behind the big door, there's just like a normal small door that you walk through. Hey Zeus said, how much did the evil corporation spend on this crazy aperture door?
And the fact that it still looks good, like everything else in that tunnel is destroyed, ruined, but the door is
door
just
is
like in
pristine.
pristine condition.
Even like the way he opens it, he pulls on it and it starts getting acceleration and he lets go and it keeps going down. That gives like, did Apple design the opening function of this door? Like there's so much effort to it.
Old Scotland says, how exactly are Leon and Sherry getting a signal right now? I thought that you would lose her at some point. I thought it was going to be like, Leon, I can't hear you.
Didn't
but
it
like,
happen?
no, she's there the whole time.
It does.
It does happen, no?
That does
but-
happen.
Okay, not when they walk into the big door, though.
Yeah, I think when you like later, it does happen.
When you're just
5G,
coughing
man.
all the time.
Yeah.
5G.
I think when he's like coughing blood and laying on the ground, she's like, Leon! And he can't talk to her. But it's later on.
So there is the section in the arc as both Leon and as Grace. Remind me the sequence of like what exactly, because it's Leon finds Grace. They're on the big platform, right? Mm-hmm. And then they jump on the robot arm and then they fall into the basement.
Which was
That's how it
a
goes?
crazy gamble plan. I can't believe that worked out.
I didn't understand what the plan was.
I think it was just grab the arm. I hope we land somewhere good.
Because then you just walk back out there and it's like, hey, I got the password, by the way. And I was like, well, what did we destroy?
I needed to go on my vision quest to remember the password.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, what's going on?
Did you guys love the aesthetic of the lab after being in the dirty brown area for so long? Just being in a clean lab was like, ooh, this feels good.
That's real. That's some real Resident Evil where it's like time for white walls. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything's been
Gabe
recently
B
wiped.
says, I loved the Mirror's Edge looking room where Grace has to
Yes.
plug in the marbles. The weird angular couches. Why does this room have couches? I thought the same thing. I was like, there's like the place with like the big sculptures, and then it's like, but then you just walk out of that into a lab and I'm like, are you like bringing guests here? Like,
It was
is
giving
this a
like
visitor center?
if you were like the evilest man, tech bro, like what would you put in your home? And it's like,
Yeah.
weird, messed up human evolution sculptures for real.
For real.
Yeah.
Now, I have a very important question for y'all, which is, do you remember when Leon gives Grace a boost up that wall
Yes.
and he taps the wall to make sure that it's like
And it makes the
secure?
dinkiest noise.
It's
Yeah.
like, it's a concrete wall. He's like, gotta check.
Yeah, why did he do that? I didn't
I
think
just
about
remember
it.
he knocked on it and I thought it was gonna go like dung dung and instead it went like dink dink. And I
was
got
like-
so distracted by that.
I was really thinking, like, did they do this together? Do y'all watch the motion capture stuff?
Yeah,
I
I love
haven't
that.
seen that. I want to ask about it. But I was like, did they have this as like a plywood wall in the motion capture studio? And so it made sense. But then instead they made it like a giant vault.
Like, once the artist got to it, they were like, all we have
Yeah.
is concrete assets, just make it concrete.
Yeah.
Maybe they were going to prop up with some garbage that gets them higher up onto the concrete wall. That actually would track with the way that he checked its stability. And he couldn't climb up himself. So they got separated yet again. Classic Resident Evil. You go this way, I'll
Yeah.
go that way.
I like the Grace section here a lot. I thought that it was very fun. Jonathan Valdez says Grace was an absolute killing machine in this section. Leon and his little kicks had nothing on Grace with a bag full of bottled acid and hemolytic injectors.
I killed every single liquor.
Me too.
In this
Yep.
section. Just all of them. Yeah, it felt so good.
It's like the acid works, but also the Molotovs. There was one time when I got 4 zombies with 1 Molotov, and it was like the greatest feeling I've
That's
ever
what happened to
had.
us too. I was so excited. I literally was like, their achievement better pop. This feels like a special event sort of thing. And they have that one room where you can open all the little sub doors of the little containers, but that's the room with, 8 liquors in it plus 2 zombies. So the deaf guys are easy to get around, but then the one zombie will be staring the one direction you want to go in. We cleared out that area and I got every single treat in there. It was so satisfying.
I had to run through that section 3 separate times because I kept missing the marble in the last room.
Really?
I just walked past the case because I had the 1 marble and I was like, I've killed every zombie. I've gone everywhere. And then eventually I was like, oh, that box has an arrow on it. And I just didn't see it at any point.
This area felt really choreographed as well. Like when you walk by a window, a licker will climb over it and leave blood trails behind it. And when you turn another corner, two of them will like look like they're gonna fight and then turn around and walk away. There was a lot of effort to it. All the Grace parts are the best parts. There's so much more, I don't know, more stuff going on. I think because the player is so more methodically slow, maybe I'm just noticing things more, but it just feels like the vibes are so good when you're Grace. It's so much more fun.
Yeah.
And I liked this lab a lot better than the Resident Evil 2 remake lab. Like, I like that we've upgraded from key cards to marbles, or to really fun orbs to spin. Like, don't tell me you didn't lift that orb up, bring it as close to the camera as possible, and give it a spin. Like, I was fascinated.
Yeah.
I liked, I also liked how you would find keys, but it would not be kind of the most obvious, like the closest key. And so then you would, you'd get kind of the inventory tension back of like, oh my gosh, I have this in my inventory. Am I going to be able to, get rid of it? Though her inventory was popping off for me. I had so much stuff in like the chest that I couldn't even take with me. There was one time I like, the lickers are blind, and so you sneak around and it's fun, and they had like, oh, don't walk on the crunchy glass, whatever. I like there's one point when you're coming into a room and two lickers burst through the glass right in front of you.
Yeah, man.
And then they just kind of go on patrol paths and they don't attack you at all. Yeah. And I was like, why did you guys both decide to burst through the glass if you like didn't know I was in here?
I didn't know they didn't attack you because I immediately went on the offensive.
Oh.
Like I immediately started blasting.
I jumped behind the couch and I went, eek.
Wow.
Yeah. The combo of the lickers with the zombies too is such a... God, I was getting so mad at the two easiest to kill zombies were so strategically placed throughout the level. Like great level design of just like turn around, and then I can make it, yes. And they just never would. So fun.
The sound design in this game is so good, and there were so many times when I was like, okay, cool, I've killed the one or two lickers in this room. I don't need to worry about anything anymore. And there was like a zombie in there, and I would just like take a shot. And then I would just hear the licker's feet stomping towards me from somewhere in the level.
Slap, like frog slapping sound.
Yeah, like somewhere in that room or the next room, they're coming for me. I thought it was so scary. I loved it.
Oh my God, we had the best moment of the whole stream. I went back and clipped it, Sarah, just because I wanted to watch it 5 more times, where I was running from a licker, and I was just running straight forward, but you can hear it slaps on the cold floor behind me as I sprint. And we got back into the orb room where you put the orbs in, and I don't know why my brain was just like, I'm safe in here. So I turned around and started doing a victory dance. And then this licker should be hired at SNL. The comedic timing was literally perfect. It burst in the exact second I thought I was safe. Sarah and I went, I had to pause the stream like right away. It was the best moment of the whole 15 hours that we played this. It was so fun. I really like the
no safe rooms and the length at which they chase you. I feel like they've extended the range at which things will chase you.
They just have like the whole level.
And I think that's, first of all, I mean, like the gamer in me is like, oh my God, I hate this. But like, it's cool. It's really cool that they're no longer there. Because usually you can be like, okay, I know what the path is. I know when it's going to go back. I know that I can get here and it'll stop chasing me. But for a lot of these areas, that's just like off the table now.
That's like the joke is, you run into the save room and Mr. X is standing in the door frame just like grumpy at you. It's like the rules. So having to learn that the rules don't apply anymore is fun.
Yeah. I will say I really like the lickers as Grace. I think as Leon, they are the most boring enemy in the game to fight. Because it's like they don't do anything. It's like you just shoot them while they're far away, and you can't like kick them, or you can sneak up behind them actually and do a little melee kill on them, which looks crazy. So recommend doing that. But this was like, I love playing as Leon. In this section of the game, when you go through and do the like Leon sections, I was like, brother, you've been like I'm enjoying Grace's sections more at this point. Although there is that part where, like, you put the key in the door and the elevator's coming down, and then every zombie breaks out of the test tube at the same time. Yeah. And I think I killed, like, 10 of them with a propane tank. That was very, that was a fun moment.
King something or other, someone or other in the comments are saying
King
you
Dravide?
can cut their you can cut their tongues off if you parry as Leon.
That's a
hard.
trophy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? Holy Lord.
What do you even call them if you cut their tongue off? They don't even have their name anymore. It's like Clamps from Futurama without his clamps.
You call them because they can't talk anymore.
Good.
Thank you.
There is that. I like whenever a game changes what the item boxes look like, and when you get into the lab, the boxes look different. But I was like, here's my smallest nitpick. They make a noise that it does not look like. The noise they make when you break them looks like they were, or sounds like they were made out of glass. But I'm looking at it, and it's like a wire cage.
Like the ones with like neon yellow around them?
Yeah.
Those ones? Huh, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, 0 out of 10. Didn't like the game. Let's see. So this is all kind of leading up to the end. Oh, well, you know what we have to talk about?
The Rainbow Six Siege part?
Yes. The
Yes.
Rainbow Six Siege part.
That makes me realize maybe
dude.
Leon isn't as strong as he is, and he only has been fighting
I
stupid
felt-
zombies
yes.
this whole time.
So the excuse was that these are just soldiers there to stop you. They're like super soldiers there to stop Leon
Yeah,
from
I
messing with
guess.
Elpis. They were just there. The operations have just been continuing there this entire time.
Yeah.
They were
Not
hard.
good. I was shocked how bad it felt
Yeah.
to fight them.
Yeah. It's so interesting
it-
how the whole combat system of this game is for zombies only. It doesn't mesh well with human fighting. Like, what's the disconnect there? Why don't those two things work?
I mean, like, I'll contend that, like, I am bad at, like, shooting. Like, I'm not, like, bad, but I'm, like, not great.
You were talking about
But
how you
it-
play Deadlock. I think you're good.
But it was just like I would have my rifle out scoped and they wouldn't peek unless I stopped scoping. And like the speed at which they would peek me, insane. Like human level stuff, but also a little bit past human level where like they had an advanced knowledge of where I was looking at all times.
I think
Yeah,
Sorry,
Haley.
I was just going to say, for me, it was kind of like I could see the fabric of their AI system too clearly. Like, you would aim at one and it would stay hidden. And then if you faked looking up, then the AI would know now's a good time because they're not completely on my head anymore. Like, I could see the blueprints of how they drafted those types of enemies. So it was much less fun because it was less about, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. It was more about, I need to learn the confines of their AI system and then fight around that than have fun and fight in general.
I was
I
so
think you
relieved that after the hunk fight, they were done because I was like, I'm not playing this. Like this becomes a YouTube finisher for me if this is what I'm gonna have to deal with the rest of the
Bring
game.
this hashtag bring the zombies back.
I think you were
Yeah.
meant to use. There were like those kind of canisters
The
that were
smoke
like smoke,
canisters.
and you could shoot them. But it was always one of those things where I'd see them like after I'd already done the encounter.
Or like you use the
Volander-
smoke, but nobody would be there.
Yeah.
It required you to have like a high understanding of the map, and like going in for your first playthrough, I was definitely fumbling in the dark.
Yeah, so Volander agrees with us, said walked through a room of waist-high walls and was filled with a sense of dread. However, Harrison C., just for the other perspective, said the encounters with Umbrella were surprisingly great. I avoid shooters and saw this as a great perspective to show how tough zombies are. The design of the I was like, they took a lot
Sorry.
of bullets.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Harrison. Not right. Incorrect on them. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
somebody who plays shooters, this isn't normally what shooters are like.
I was also like, is this the first time Leon Kennedy has just straight up killed like a man?
Humans.
Yeah, like not infected at all, as far as we know. Just putting a bullet between the eyes of like a human being.
Just for love of the game, yeah. I don't know.
But
Do y'all
I
know
will
about?
say-
Do y'all know about the hunk? That being the hunk guy?
No.
Do y'all
Yeah.
know about hunk?
And
So
that's
the-
because
the
I've
boss-
only ever played like RE2 Remake. So
Yeah, so Hunk is like a character that's sort of just throughout the series, and it's implied that he is the boss you fight. If one of his kill animations on you is the same neck break animation Hunk does in Mercenaries.
Mercenary.
But also, if when you finish the boss fight, if you check him, he has the same infection as Leon and Sherry. So he would be a Raccoon City victim. And also, if you leave the room and come back, he disappears, implying he's still alive. He's still out there kicking. So, there you go. Isn't that a fun fact?
Blake, Nikki B said almost exactly the same things. Yeah, the real thing is he does little jazz fingers after he breaks your neck. And unlike the umbrella shooter fights, I like this part quite a bit. It was kind of like the Krauser fight, having a knife fight
It did feel
with
that way.
Leon.
But there's so many guys running around the Resident Evil series that pop up seemingly spontaneously, and it's like, oh, you don't know this guy?
Is this new guy a new guy, or is he
I
an old
literally,
guy?
as I've played a lot of Resident Evil games, but obviously not enough, because people keep popping up, and I'm like, is this new guy? Is this old guy?
I just go up their outfits half the time too. I'm like, he's got the hat. It's that one.
I hear you. I hear you all, but for Blake and Jacob, who play Mercenaries, Hunk showing up, I was losing it. I was so stoked.
It's fun because Hunk has basically no story significance. He's just kind of like an icon. Like he doesn't have a backstory really. And
but then
so just whenever a gas mask guy
people mad at Haley and I because we don't know who the Hunk is. And then I find out it actually doesn't matter who the Hunk is. He's just a guy.
Super doesn't. He's a really long-running character that is mainly in arcade modes.
That's awesome.
Basically it.
Is it because his writing is good? Like he's really sassy and quippy with Leon or other characters?
No, he doesn't talk.
No, he doesn't talk. He has no story.
He's in Resident Evil 4, why he's so good is how Leon can stagger someone and then kick them.
Yeah.
Hunk can stagger someone and then just break their neck, and it's a one-hit kill. And so people like him just because of how fun he is to play.
Just a cool guy.
Just a cool guy.
Yeah, and
which is valid, but don't come for me because I don't know who he is.
No, that's so valid, Sarah. He is in Resident Evil 2, though. He has his own game mode. One of the arcade modes you play as Hunk. I don't remember what it's called.
Hunk mode.
Was that interesting for everyone?
Right?
Did you like learning
I was just glad that you guys knew who he was. Because I was Googling him and I was like, where does he come from? What is the significance?
No,
nowhere, nothing. He's just
It
cool.
is truly, it is fan service.
It's just fan
there's
service,
no reason you should have known who that was.
Well, I got that vibe when he showed up as question mark in the subtitles, and it's just like, who is this man? He's got a mask on. He seems to have charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Like he clearly is someone from somewhere. So who is he?
And he does the thing of like, I'm not gonna shoot. I could easily shoot you with a gun, but I'm not going to. It's gonna be an axe.
I like the way that he was constantly like sneaking up on me. Like he's always like he's either killing you or like crouched, and I'm like, I can see you. Like what are you doing?
We're in a normal room. Yeah, when the smoke goes out, I felt like that seemed like a last minute change of like, maybe the smoke was denser, and then in playtesting they were like, this isn't fun to play because at some point the ground gets covered in smoke, but you can still see everything.
Yeah.
Maybe if we had like RTX super on, then the smoke would be denser and it would be
It's like
more
when you play
interesting.
shooters with low settings so the bushes and stuff disappear.
Yes, exactly.
Really quick, I'm so sorry, but just because something Haley said, you locked in on RuPaul this season.
Yeah.
Who you got for your number one?
I'm in a league for it, and I picked Mikey Meeks and Discord Adams, and I'm in third now.
Okay, Darlene's my number one, but Mikey feels like the winner, or maybe
it's gonna be Jane.
The one who did Truman, Jane don't. The Truman Capote thing was unbelievable.
Discord, she gives winner.
Gotta get her out of there.
She gives winner, and Mikey gives second, but I might still win the whole league if I get Mikey up there. Yeah.
Love Mikey.
And Blake, which of them do you think would be the best character to play in the Mercenaries?
In the Mercenaries?
Can you
Probably
please
Discord.
her? Oh yeah, Discord.
Probably Discord. She's ruthless, She'd be out there. She'd be doing her weird little walk across the stage. Yeah.
At some point during this sequence, Leon calls Sherry and tells her to send a helicopter, to which I wrote, Leon, what franchise do you think you're in? when has getting a helicopter ever worked out for you?
Yeah, people need to stop using helicopters and like monorail trains in the Resident Evil series. It never
At the same
works.
time,
use jet skis.
Yeah,
at the same
those always
time,
work.
yes, only jet skis on the open ocean. I don't know. I'll take a helicopter crash every time. It gets me every time. I keep thinking this is the one. this is the one I'll get away in.
There's never been a landing helicopter in Resident Evil. Is that a true statement?
No, there has been.
It's landed, but then it can't take off.
Yeah.
Or it's flying around, but then it can't land.
Exactly.
I think it's nice that Leon and Grace each get their own special crates. Can you imagine how annoying it would be if Grace found Leon's points crate and was like, what do I do with this?
Hold on, I'm so sorry. In 7, don't you end the game? Isn't the final boss fight partly in a helicopter? Isn't that a successful helicopter?
Don't you leave on a boat?
Take off and landing?
You fight like the grandma that gets big, right? Are you in a helicopter?
The helicopter at
Maybe
least
you are.
lands in that because the helicopter comes down because Chris gets out. I mean, he repels down. I don't know if we count that as a full landing.
Yeah, well, Chris
No.
lands, but the helicopter stays up.
Chris landed successfully. That happens all the time. But the helicopter didn't.
Right.
We need to have a really
great
long
stuff.
conversation about this and do some real research. Figure this
We
out.
have to play every Resident Evil now.
And only look at the helicopters and see what they do.
Let's talk about Grace's UMD, which she actually had in her pocket for the whole
entire
game.
time. And it survived.
Sarah asked about that 20 minutes after she lost it. And we're like, where is the floppy
Yeah.
disk? And she just
Yeah, I
never-
assumed it got taken.
she never showed herself
I
going,
do-
oh, save this for later. We need that kind of stuff. Otherwise, I don't know what's going on.
I don't appreciate this game treating me like I'm sorry to the new editor, idiot. When Grace is like, oh yeah, I have this thing in my pocket. Your mom, the most important thing your mom ever gave to you in her dying moments. The game at the very end, we've waited this entire game as intelligent humans who eat, piss, and breathe have not forgotten. But Grace, I'm just expected to forgive her being like, oh yeah, I got a floppy disk in my pocket. Are you out of your mind?
And she doesn't even
Capcom?
check every file. She looks at
furious.
2 files and then leaves the floppy disk behind. What if there's more
And it's
information?
crazy that she found the
I was-
evilest computer possible and was like, this is the computer I'm gonna put my floppy
Yeah,
disk
also,
in.
what was up with the UI for that computer? You remember that giant play button that
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
pushing? I
just,
love when they make a computer different than any other computer.
It does, I understand this is a story. You just got to suspend your. I don't want to CinemaSins the damn game, but multiple times in this game, Grace's faulty memory is their convenient way of just moving the story along. Like, how did she forget I'm so sorry. The folder behind the painting. Why would she not think to look at the thing her mom did and was killed over? It just.
The more it was a great game. I know people think that we don't like the game. I love the game.
I love this game.
You just can't think about it too hard.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the deepest dive is the thing where we think about
we
it.
have
too
to think
hard.
about it hard, so we're going to talk about
Yeah,
it.
it's the most thorough. We gotta dissect it.
I
It's
just
the most
really,
thorough,
I really don't like when a character who's proposed to us to be smart is being dumb. That really bothers me when that kind of thing
What
is
do you mean
happening.
she figured out the password? Which to me, what the I would have never come to that conclusion. What the Sorry, new editor.
I would have
This
thought
is our
the
new
password
bit.
was Requiem. We watched
Yes,
that
me
video,
too!
and I
I
thought the
thought it
password
was
was
Requiem
Requiem.
too.
And then she's like, Hope. And I'm like, where are you? Oh, so I would have, even if I wanted to save Elpis, I would have
Because-
Did you all-
messed it up.
Did you all get the bad ending too on accident?
Yeah.
Wait,
We gotta
wait,
save it.
we
We
need,
gotta
we
save
need to
it.
talk
Let's-
about other stuff before we talk about the endings, because we're
I
going
was
to talk
about to
about the
book
endings
a
for
trip
a
to
long time.
Osaka to talk to Capcom about this one. I was so mad, man.
We should talk about Leon just progressively getting sicker and sicker over the course of this. That he still can do action hero stuff, but then he's
Like Red Dead 2.
He's coughing up blood. The screen's getting all wiggly. One day video games will figure out how to make a sick character in a way other than the screen getting all wiggly, but it's not this game.
I fear that'll be a thing till games stop getting made.
You guys know when you get sick and then everything's just
Everything
blue
turns
wobbly.
blue and goes back and
I-
forth. You know when you're drinking with your
that
homies
like a
and,
man who doesn't-
and suddenly your vision goes like this. So
I like a
fun.
man who doesn't get migraines. Sometimes it's like that. Man. I had a migraine last week, and it was.
And
it was
did
kinda like
it
that.
affect any of your gameplay? Because we would just
No.
kind of wait it out a little bit. I
Yeah.
feel bad, but I didn't feel like I was Leon was clearly going through it. But I was like,
Also-
don't worry, Leon. We'll just take a little
I'll
breather.
just stand still for a
take
bit.
a break.
There were some very obvious tips that popped up on the screen in this game. There's one back in the windows that was like, hey, shoot the windows under the zombies. I was like, I got it. There's one when you're sick that's just like, hey, there's nothing you can do. Leon's sick. Just wait it out. And I was like, did they have like a bunch of players who were like, I can't figure out what the cure is?
People were probably using their healing items.
Oh no,
Or something, thinking they could like cure
Well,
it,
I only
yeah.
had 14 of them, so I couldn't have afforded to do that. Estevan H said, I rarely get sick, but during this part of the game, I came down with maybe the worst head cold I've ever had. Should I have rested instead of playing this game? Maybe, but I thought it was very immersive to be coughing and sniffling right along my favorite Resident Evil character.
We'll get through this together.
Oh my god, 4D
It's like
video
what,
games.
parallel illness? It's like parallel play, but you're sick together.
Yeah.
There's that room that Leon collapses in that looks like, here's a reference for maybe no one on this podcast, the room in Blade Runner 2049 with all the water on the walls. They have like the wiggly water shadows, and I didn't understand what they were coming from in this. Yeah.
I know that one. I did think of that. Yeah.
Okay, so then what does Grace learn on her UMD? She watches it and she discovers that her mom is interviewing Spencer, like the
Spencer, yeah.
the OG Mr. Resident Evil, who you explore his mansion in the first game. She's doing this as a journalist, and he's saying, I regret my life's decisions. I'm sad that I made so many zombies, and now I just want hope. And then he has a baby, and he's like, this is a normal girl, and she's my hope. How
Then he went, will you
go?
take this baby? And she said,
Will
yes,
you take this baby?
I will take this baby.
Because that's how babies work. You can just pass
You
them
just
around.
give them away.
Yeah. Randolph Sparks says, I chose to destroy Elpis because I simply did not believe Spencer. After playing so many games over the span of decades telling me this guy is an evil bastard to his core, I simply didn't buy this deathbed repentance from him. This also makes me wonder if they're going to remake RE5 because his characterization is so inconsistent with how he's portrayed here. And Fatal Bert said something similar in Resident Evil 5 DLC, which I actually don't think I've played, but apparently he's in that and on his, super evil eugenics thing. So he feels bad, and then you're supposed to take from that Elpis is actually not a weapon. It is in fact something good, and so you should release it, which is what... Okay. This ending.
But if you type in the password wrong, it explodes. And then nobody gets the vaccine.
But also if you type in the password right,
Everything explodes.
it explodes.
But you have an extra 2 minutes to grab
But you
it, I
get
guess.
the cure.
Yeah.
But you did it first. Yeah, Andrew N says the arc is rigged to blow even if you put in the right password. And so Leon says destroy it. By typing in the wrong password, to which Grace hilariously types in like the word destruction or something.
We
Or
said
I'm like,
type
Grace,
in
just
P-
type in the
So-
wrong password.
Yeah.
Just
You
mash
could just
the
type. You
keyboard.
could just type in a single letter. Like, why are we? What are we doing here,
She
Grace?
was feeling dramatic.
Yeah. Okay. So Blake, you got evil ending first.
Yeah, I did. And I kind of was like, holy what an ending. And then my friends were like, that's not the... You gotta go back. You gotta keep
So
playing.
The
you
game even
think-
tells you to go back.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, that's true. That does happen. That does happen.
the game is
Yeah,
like, don't you want to go back and see what the other option is? And
The
apparently
game
it
does
doesn't.
not tell you to go back if you get the good ending first. I will say,
Yeah.
and it's actually a real
Interesting,
pain in the
interesting.
ass because the last save point is
But
like a long
I've-
time before that.
I forgot it does do that. But it's so pointless. There are no narrative stakes. It was a waste of the development team's schedule to make it was a waste of money. It was a waste of my time. Now I'm wasting the viewer's time talking about it. What is the point of this? What
mean the
does it
bad
matter?
ending?
First off,
The bad ending?
Yes,
Has a Resident
exactly.
Evil
I
game
think-
ever had a bad ending before?
There's the two. You could choose two people at the end of 7. You're
Oh,
But
shit.
it didn't.
Yeah,
It didn't punish you
either
for
of
one or
those
the
are
other.
like valid, right?
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think the thing that I think the thing that makes me most frustrated with it is the game being like, so do you want to go back? It's like, so you're admitting it's pointless. There's nothing important to this. Like, you're admitting it's a waste of time. If you just
I feel like you
send
could
me right
sense
back.
that there was a rift in the team, and some people really wanted to kill Leon Kennedy, and some people really didn't want to kill Leon Kennedy, and they were like, this was the compromise. This felt like a compromise to me.
When the credits rolled, like when they shot Leon and Grace went up to the crater and the credits came up, I was like, that's the cliffhanger. Okay, Resident Evil 10 in 5 years, we'll see what happened. And it felt interesting and cool.
I was so mad when I saw credits. I yelled, don't show me credits. And then the credits came and I was like, ah!
Did y'all also, Haley and Sarah, were you intentionally like, I'm going to choose the bad ending? Or did y'all think that was like the right thing to do?
We got a little bit of help from my partner who whispered, pick this one first so the stream will be better. Which
okay.
I appreciate because the stream was way better. But I kind of think I agree with you, Blake, that it does seem pointless, but there is this element of kind of an interesting, like, I'm trying to do the right thing, and I've been told the whole time that it's destroy it, and Leon, the guy I trust most in the world, says destroy it, and I get a little scrippy scrap of evidence that says maybe I shouldn't. I think if I was in that situation, I probably still would destroy it, and it's kind of interesting to have that happen first, and then you get rewarded with the opportunity to see the other ending now that you have more context. Like, that's kind of interesting, but if you do it the other direction, I think I'd be mad that, like, I missed out on something else.
I feel like what you're saying, like, the story aspect of it is interesting. I think the idea of the game immediately, like, being like, just kidding, that's a prank, is like, it's belittling
it does
like,
give prank energy, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like belittling to, like, the player and the story that they, like, wrote, to just be like, we're just fooling with this one. It's like, it feels very, I don't know. It left like a bad taste in my mouth. I don't want to like act like it's the biggest deal in the world, but I very much was like, what are we doing here?
I get that.
I feel like kind of what should have happened is Brian W. says, my biggest critique is how they handle the ending choice. I would have loved if they just gave you a keyboard and as Grace, you manually typed out the password. I think it would have been interesting if they made it clear. I would never guess it was
hope, but if they put hope is the right password.
If they made it a little more clear what the password was, but you had to type it in, and so it was clear, like, I should get this right, and then if you got it wrong, it could play more as like a fun failure state thing, rather than the choice seeming to position them as two equally viable endings, only to be then told, joke's on you, this one is not canon.
I like that.
The other one is how it really ends.
Effectively, what the other one is like a game over screen. It's just like the credits roll instead, you know?
Yeah. Ruben says, I don't know how to feel about choosing an ending, then letting you go back to do the correct one. It makes you feel like one of the endings is just a curiosity. It seems to rob the ending of any pathos, which I agree with. I also think it's like, again, maybe... it could still be one ending Leon dies, one ending Leon lives, but like, let us fight Xeno. I was kind of like, DLC. Are there going to be two different boss fights or something? Cool. Because that would
that would be cool.
Like that ending gets the Xeno boss fight, the other one gets Gideon.
Yeah. I also think like a quick path to making your story more interesting is just kill a character. And like, I think Resident Evil would have become like very interesting if Leon was never a factor again, because now it's got the Yakuza 6 problem. It's like, why?
Yes,
just let my man go,
It does feel like, especially with the kind of themes of like, this is about wrapping up all those loose ends of the past. It's like Leon gets to like finish everything that he regretted not being able to do, and then maybe he dies. It's like, I'm not so opposed to him living. I think it's fine, but I do think like it would have thematically worked for Leon to die at the end of this.
Especially
though if he died to Xeno, a guy who we don't know anything about and don't care about, that would have been annoying. Speaking of underwritten villains, this was another thing where then when what's his name? I can't even. When Victor walks back in, So they have a debate where they're both just kind of dumb and they don't know what's happening, where Victor wants you to type in the right password because he thinks that Elpis is a bioweapon.
They think it's like a new virus.
Yeah.
Like a brand new virus to control. And I think it's supposed to like control people mentally.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
better control of the zombies.
Then Victor is like, when he realizes it's a cure, he's like, oh, masterful gambit, sir. You actually are going to send the world into even more chaos by like wiping out the bioweapon. And I was like, this is a cope, Victor. You don't know what his plan
He's
was.
embarrassed. He's embarrassed. He's coming up with stuff on the spot.
Well, no, because I think that was just him rationalizing that Spencer would never create a cure to be a good person. Like, at that point, he's doing like the Donald Trump thing where he's like, no, you don't understand. Spencer is on that 4D chess, you guys. He created this cure so that we could get rid of these zombies. Like, I think that's what he was. He was like post-rationalizing that it wasn't for a good reason, like that it was evil.
I agree. I just think for like the final boss to just be like, yeah, he's just like a guy who got things wrong the whole game. I'm like, that's not really narratively satisfying. And then did y'all like the final boss fight? Because it was another that I found pretty underwhelming.
I like when he got real big. Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I just don't understand why he wasn't a snake. He like wears
Oh,
snake
yeah,
skins
yeah.
and he has a snake tongue and he doesn't.
Yeah.
He has like the tendril arms, but he just becomes like another Resident Evil boss. I'm like, I thought that we were setting up. I thought he was gonna turn into a snake.
I've seen.
Someone called that out. It's like it really seemed forecasted, and then then the line is Leon says, "Oh, of course, you're a tyrant. That's why you never give up." So he's like one of Nemesis. You know, he's a Nemesis or whatever. But at the end of Resident Evil 3, you kill Nemesis with a railgun, and it's like the coolest thing in the world. And in this, you just shoot him in the head with the same gun that you've been using the whole boss fight. And it was just kind of like, that did it? That's it? Okay.
I was sad there was no like rocket launcher. You know?
Oh, there is
like,
a rocket launcher.
There is.
I mean, we didn't get it.
didn't have
but like
it.
in Resident Evil 4, they just give you one if you don't have
it.
one. Did we have a rocket launcher?
He drops
Yeah,
it, but
he
we didn't
dropped-
pick it up, Sarah.
Oh.
Yeah, he drops a rocket.
it didn't
I did kill
matter!
him with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, you can one shot.
I didn't realize that we
his-
didn't pick up his rocket launcher.
I didn't know that either until Michael told me after. He's
You
like,
can
didn't
like
pick it up.
one shot his like second form or whatever with that rocket launcher.
Nice. Damn, we
An
missed it.
editor's note, looking back at this footage, it looks like Victor typed something into the computer and then everything falls apart. So he did
So
the
we put the
self-destruct
password
button.
in, and then he goes in and he's like...
He presses like two
PP.
keys and then he goes, let it all come down, and then everything falls down.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite subtle and quick. Like, I didn't even notice he typed in the computer the first time we played it.
Yeah, I do like Krauser points out. Wow, Krauser, thanks for contributing to the deepest dive. You
I thought
can
we took care of
parry
you in Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, you can parry the rocket he shoots at you.
What?
You can ding it out of the way, which is pretty fun. I like the part they do basically a Toy Story 3 ending where you beat the final boss. You're like, oh damn, is
does
Grace
give Toy
alive
Story
at
3.
all? You find her, and then she's just kind of like, there's no way out, is there?
Sit down.
And Leon's like, nope. And then he just sit down in the dark,
that was
presumably
so
waiting
weird.
to die.
Yeah!
Sad.
And you're sitting down together, and then the electricity goes out, and you're like, well, there's no way out. And I'm like, you've literally been finding ways out this entire game, but this is where you give up when you find the cure and you kill, this is where we're gonna call it?
Yeah.
Also, they both have flashlights.
Yep.
That's what they're
Maybe
really
they
worried about
drop
the
them.
dark. They're worried about getting a
Stop!
little
I didn't
too
even
scared.
think about that. That was it was supposed to be like a Grace heart-to-heart,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that where he confesses that he didn't kill Emily?
No, that's later when they're at
Or-
the
no,
ambulance
that's later.
all
That's
recovered.
after
Oh, that's
they-
right.
Yeah, so he was gonna let them both die with Grace just thinking that he
Never
shot
knowing that-
little girl. Betos Burrito says, I did not see the Last Jedi twist coming with Grace just being a normal person. It makes the scenes with Gideon and Zeno retroactively hilarious when they're like, you're the chosen one, and Grace is just an anxious homebody. And Stephen Lund said, this is kind of long, but it's fun. When it's revealed that Grace is Spencer's final hope, that revelation didn't do anything for me. But in our house, we listen to a lot of Disney music with our kid, and Grace's journey is basically the same one that Mirabel goes on in the movie Encanto. Both Grace and Mirabel are trying to figure out why they're so important in their stories, and Encanto has the line towards the end, the miracle is not some special gift that you got, the miracle is you. And when I heard that line and started to think about Grace, I teared up, but I didn't tear up watching that revelation in the game, which I think is funny. I'm like, the idea is kind of fun, but no, it didn't quite land.
It's kind of like a missed opportunity emotional beat sort of thing. Like they could have sort of laid on that a little bit, and then she thinks about her mom a little bit more.
But then my question is, where did Spencer get her from? Like, where did he find, like, why did he adopt this random child if she had nothing to, I feel like she's still somewhat related. Like, I think she is.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Part of the clone group, but then I'm like, wouldn't you recognize what you looked like as a child? Like, I like to think that if I saw myself as a 6-year-old, I would say, holy, oh my God, that looks like me.
But I also thought that they did make all the girls look like Grace. I was like, so why does she look like all of them?
That's what they wanted you. That was like a misdirect. But I think she is. My theory is that she is one of the clones, but she never got like tested on, or she was like the one.
Sarah Goldilocks left a comment that's almost exactly the same thing. Grace was not who was being cloned. She was just one of the clones that Spencer wanted to try and give normal life at redemption.
Yeah, to make him feel
they
better
say,
for
I
all the
believe
other
he
clones.
lies about her so he can more easily convince Alyssa to adopt her than if he said, here, take this clone Umbrella made.
That'd be interesting.
And yeah, it's a sign of good writing that we have to talk through this many hoops to make it all work. You know,
And here's
really
another one. Magnus says, is Zeno bad at math? The game takes place in 2026 and the flashback is in 1990 with, according to him, clones of Grace. Grace, who would then be in her early 40s. So either Zeno thinks Grace looks great for a woman of her age, or he didn't stop to think about how there could be clones in the 90s of a woman born in 2004.
It's because he only looks at pictures of Rebecca.
The only question I want answered
his sense of age is warped.
What is up with the Resident Evil series and just giving women children, and why do all the women in Resident Evil just accept these children?
Yeah, there was that one sparkling moment in the church where he picks up Emily, and I'm like, a man's carrying the child in a horror game, woo! And then something happens. Like, take her, I gotta go.
In Resident Evil, guys are muscles and women are moms. That's it. That's the whole gender breakdown.
Lady D's. Well, she's a mom.
She was kind of a. She had.
she's
a mom.
the mom.
She's like the mom. Never mind.
Yeah.
She's
cool literally mommy.
She's literally mommy. Yeah, my bad.
Let's see. So there are some comments that we have just kind of about the story is confusing. Dakota F says the beginning feels really meticulous, but then it's just kind of like what's going on. But I like this comment from Chase Kahn, who said, in the afterglow of this game, which I thoroughly enjoyed, I've been thinking about how video games might be uniquely positioned to overcome the traditional pitfalls and criticisms of legacy sequels. Requiem, to me, feels like gaming's version of Alien Romulus, a remix or greatest hits. But unlike the regurgitated Romulus, I found myself engrossed in the fan service of Requiem. Do these type of legacy sequels just work better in games, or is it just a personal thing? I think they do. I think like mechanically evoking something is way more interesting than just being like, hey, remember that line that someone else said, which is kind of what Romulus does.
Yeah.
But I think they both get a little tired if overdone.
It's kind of fun that horror is so nostalgic because it's such a heightened emotional experience compared to other types of media. Like when I'm watching Adventure Time, I'm having a great time and I love it, but I don't have adrenaline in my veins or something, you know? But then when you're playing a horror game, you're like, I'm having fun and I think I'm being chased. Like maybe your body's processing those emotions with the art in a different way, that when you feel those feelings again with similar characters, you're like, I'm trauma bonded to them. That's extreme. But like a diluted form of like trauma bonding that you experience via media, there needs to be a different word for it, but that's kind of what it feels like, baby.
How do you feel about in the first half? We were all really positive on Grace as a character.
I love her.
Still feel like that?
Yeah.
I can't believe she went back to the FBI.
Oh,
and then she, first of all, she went back to the FBI. Went back to the FBI. Didn't even get an office with a door on it. Still in a cubicle. And she's had to submit, and her boss is like, "Where's your report?" And it's like,
villain.
He's
the villain. He's the villain. We were screaming at that man. He comes in with the audacity. You just sent her through hell, and I still think he's in cahoots with somebody to get her all by herself in that building to get kidnapped. He's got to be in on it. But he does all that, and then has the audacity and the balls to walk up behind her while she's working and says, "Where's my report?" in a snarky tone. He needs to die in the next one immediately. The first thing I see needs to be his death, like a zombie bites him and he's dead. Because I was so pissed at that.
You think that guy's coming back? Resident Evil 10, they're going to get him in there?
To kill him, yeah. First
I would love for him to be like a recurring character, constantly sending agents into the field in like horrible situations with like no backup, no supplies, and like a gun that they bought with their own money.
He's got to be in on it, right? Because they had those little notes of Victor when he's like tracking Grace. And it's like, she just goes home every day. How am I ever going to find her alone? And then conveniently, her boss is like, go here alone and stand alone. Do not go with anyone. Also bring one little gun with one bullet.
Also, she's alone every day and then she goes home. Very easy to get her alone. Go to her home.
She's in her alone apartment. Yeah.
Kelsey Sims said it's insane that Grace went back to work for the FBI and the director still had his job. Jonathan G said, my thought from last time of the FBI boss being part of the plot against Grace didn't really come through, but if you stop and look at the big screens on that massive console she puts the disc into before doing the cutscene, you can see some descriptions of them plotting to get the government to do what they wanted and how to get Grace. So, maybe the boss was in on it still.
Yeah, I did. I had to do a bunch of digging with this game because I struggle with like keeping all of the evil organizations and like who's good and who's bad straight in Resident Evil games. Because I was looking up like the BSAA because like they're like low-key like evil in this one or like not good anymore, but then they're also good because there's a good branch like the US. But then I found out, the evil organization that Xeno is a part of is called the Connections. And they're like colluding with the US government in they're like international crime and all that kind of stuff. I think they're colluding with the US government. I don't know. Don't yell at me.
No, we need
in the comments.
We need a parent and subsidiary like company infographic to look at every time they talk about anyone because I forget. Yeah.
Parent company, umbrella, and then like all the anti-umbrella companies. No, but the thing is, umbrella's not even the umbrella, dude. Like,
I know, it's like halfway down the umbrella stem.
It's some more talk about Grace's character. I really like this from McGreevy, who said that the dual protagonist angle really paid off. Grace is not grizzled and cynical. She's trusting and hopeful. She got depressed when Leon killed Emily the monster. Leon would have never made the call to trust Spencer's change of heart. And it's like, I do think that's a good, it's like Leon would not have got the good ending of this game. Like he's too effed up from everything that he's gone through to kind of be able to help us hope in the way that Grace was supposed to. And I think that's a great point. McGreevy also says
why they were trying to do.
McGreevy also said, why did Leon slap that wet wall in the dump? We'll never know.
That's the best question ever asked in a
We'll never know.
Well, like hearing that thought makes me kind of like the split ending thing a bit more, even though I overall do agree that's annoying. Because it's kind of like one ending if you were Leon playing the game, and then one ending if you were Grace playing the game. Sort of.
I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
They just did not land
was a
the
little
plane.
bundled.
Like,
Yeah.
I
They
see
didn't land the
what they were
helicopter, Sarah.
going for. Yeah, the helicopter did not land quiet. Like, it was not a good landing. Like, I get it, and I appreciate what they were going for here. But yeah, it did kind of get a little too, I don't know, like, the plot points were everywhere at the end. Like, there were too many, like, is Grace a clone? Is she not a clone? Who is Zeno? What's going on here? And then they're like, oh, but you don't believe in the power of hope enough. And there's a bad guy, now he's good, he's got a baby, and he's giving it to the first woman who talks to him? Like, did he mean to give it to Alyssa? Was that, like, that's my thing too, like, did he know Alyssa? Was he like, oh, Alyssa's like...
It was in his will.
And then he should have been giving them money! Because why were they living in dank hotels when she should have been a trust fund kid?
Yeah. Straight up. Good point.
Yeah. Not just another dad not paying his child support.
They have a little thing that we didn't see, Sarah, because I went back, I was like looking at things that we might have missed, and they have a little, like, I think it's on the other floppy disk we find. They say his last will and testament, and it's like all like, it just says, I want Alyssa to have this baby. And that's just like how she ended up with Grace. Yeah. Like,
Well, good that they
Imagine
wrapped
your
up that
last
legal
will and
work.
testament was like, I want someone else to run a marathon. You know, just like, why don't you do this hard thing?
This is,
now
yeah,
that
the
I'm dead?
consent is a two-way street here, but they're like, no, Alyssa gets the baby. And because she's a woman, she'll say yes. And she'll
and it
take that
conveniently
baby.
looks just like her also. So she can raise it and tell her that that's her
Nobody
job.
will ask questions.
Yeah.
Did any of y'all do any New Game Plus stuff? I didn't, so no guilt here.
Okay.
Jay to save the day does save the day because they have a report on the New Game Plus where they say it's a little awkward because you don't just kind of get all your inventory at the beginning like in most New Game Pluses. You have to kind of like purchase it along the way, and so you can like get to the chunk part where you fight him as a boss as Leon and like not have the shotgun, which is a little weird.
Oh.
But they say there's an insanity mode, which is like a difficulty that like really changes things up in ways that sound interesting. Rearranged enemy locations, changes to enemy density. They take more damage to kill. There's a new weapon type for Grace where you can craft blood knives, which is presumably making knives
Blood
out
knives.
of blood, which is
I
cool.
did feel like we didn't have enough knives.
Yeah.
New crafting recipes, and then eventually you can get an infinite rocket launcher and just blow everything out of the water. What was the motion capture stuff that y'all were watching? Is that like a special feature in the game?
Yep.
Yeah, we unlocked all the special features.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything cool? Did you see them doing anything fun?
I love motion
It looked
capture
cool.
work. It's such a cool. What a cool job. I know. Shout out to Haley DeBoom, friend of the show, who works in that field. Whenever she tells me anecdotes about
That would be
working,
so
it's
cool.
like, wow, it's just like such a cool industry. I really liked in the background. There's a woman who's clearly in charge of. She's like conducting scary stuff happening in the background so that everyone can react at the same time. And there's one moment where something's like a zombie's
It's
falling
the
out of
arm from the
nowhere.
platform. The arm
Yes.
from the platform fell down.
Yeah, and she's like this, and the actors are low-key watching in their peripheral, and she goes, and then they'll go, whoa, whoa, and like react as if it fell right in front of them, but she's literally choreographing horror just off to the side, like, and now a zombie
That's awesome.
doing that.
And it's
really cool.
crazy
I love
seeing
that.
two people like act their hearts out in those horrible suits that nobody can look attractive in, and then a bunch of people on like 10 people on computers in the background like stone faced, like it's just another day at
Yep.
work. And I'm like, she's literally screaming for her life, and everybody else is just like capturing angles.
Yeah,
They should let you replace the cutscenes with those like they did in DMC5.
Oh my god.
that'd be cool. The other kind of cool thing too is whenever she's stuck or can't move, it's a real human holding her limb down, and she's fighting against the real human who then strategically lets her go whenever the scene needs her to be like let free. Like when she gets her arm caught on the Zack and Cody thing in the hotel, and she's just like, oh, it's like a grown man is holding her really hard, so she has the freedom to like really look really convincing to try to pull off of it, and then he lets go at the perfect time, and then she kind of snaps back and then is fighting. It's God, I can't imagine having to be a mocap zombie. How do you get in the headspace right before you're about to just be like leaning all over somebody and not get the ick and feel embarrassed? It looks like hard work.
I feel like you would have to not be in any headspace. You would have to clear your headspace. and
Yeah,
just be
zero
like,
thoughts.
Zombie. Zero thoughts.
So On March 10th, this is from Ian Sweetage, Capcom announced that there is going to be a story expansion DLC. What do y'all think
To
this is
answer
gonna be?
all the questions that we had, it's got to be something about like Grace is Grace. Like it's gonna answer like what the heck is Xeno? Or
Do
like,
you-
the heck
do
is
you
Xeno?
third
think
episode
that-
to talk about it, you guys?
It's gonna be Enzo. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Enzo's coming back. Do you think that you will play as Leon or Grace, or will there be a third character?
Well, if he died, he's Schrodinger's Leon right now. Is he dead or is he alive?
there's
No, they're not
It's
gonna
just
even
a fake-
entertain that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
will
know.
never
They
reference
They're
that
the ones who
ending
put
again.
it in. They killed him, not me.
They were cowards for that.
They were that ending should have been. It should have been like the Fallout 4 thing where you wait around. Like it's because it is. It's just a joke. It's just like, haha, what if Leon got his head blew off? We all know this isn't how the game ends.
They spent hours
but, like,
animating it
yeah.
to look very.
Yeah,
I
it was
know,
a crazy
and it
death.
sucked.
Like it was a crazy
a
good
crazy death.
looking death. But then
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, there's another ending. I know
think
it.
we
like,
might
you already
be-
know there's another ending because there's another choice.
What if we're Alyssa and we go even further back?
That'd be interesting.
No, because
Yeah.
they still have to answer questions that I have in the present.
Maybe we answer them
They
learning
might
more
not.
about Spencer as
Sarah,
Alyssa.
they might just not answer them.
They might just give us
they're
20,000
right by
new
then.
questions. Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that can somebody explain to me what has been going on with 7, 8, and 9 and why the end of these games always involve Chris Redfield in some way?
They love him.
That Charles Maxwell can maybe explain that to you. Resident Evil 7/8 have Chris Redfield and his BSAA squad show up in the end of the game to help out the protagonists. Not wanting to appear too predictable, Capcom ends with RE9 with Chris Redfield sending his BSAA squad and a messenger that looks like his stunt double to help out the protagonists. Presumably, Chris is fighting the Connections, as by all accounts they will continue Umbrella's bioterrorism with another form of infection. So yeah, he's on top of the whole thing, even though Leon works for the anti-bioterrorism government agency, so you'd think he would know what was going on.
And it's the way that the guy showed up and he was like, I'm not Chris, but I was sent by Chris. And I was like, gosh dang it. This guy, Chris again? He always shows up at the end. He always is the final savior. I worked my butt off as Grace as Leon, but guess who gets to swoop in? It's this Chris guy.
Remember when he shows up at the beginning of Resident Evil 8?
That was
Yeah.
To your wife, and then just
Yes!
leaves with no explanation.
I was like, this
Tell
guy
you
sucks.
why.
Doesn't he take your baby? Doesn't he also take the baby? He shoots your wife and takes your kid?
Yeah.
And they're like, don't worry, he's
messed
still a
up.
good guy though.
Yeah.
Because he is, he's still a good guy, but what the
I
heck?
forgot how crazy that was.
I need to watch
Chris
that
is so
opener
cool.
again.
This is so cool, says Blake after all that. I saw a video that was theorizing, because the other thing we saw in the extra content, which we didn't mention, is guess who has a wedding ring on? Leon.
No,
Leon.
the
Yeah,
artist
has a
was just
wedding
messing
ring.
around.
Says,
The artist
who
was
do
just
you all
messing
think
around.
Leon is married to?
I saw a theory
Me.
video that it's Claire.
Me, damn it.
That it's Claire,
No.
Chris's sister.
Claire.
And here's the only thing they could. It was very.
Then wouldn't you know
grasping
where
at
your
straws.
brother-in-law was?
Yeah, that's so apparently
I don't know where mine is.
his watch has a very similar design on it that Claire has on her jacket with a angel wing kind of thing. And then there's also an angel wing somewhere else on him. I can't remember right now though. So then that one person
I
made
think it's
him.
his gun handle.
His
has an
gun, the
angel
Requiem
ring
has
on.
it. Yes. So then I watched an
They-
18-minute video of somebody just using those two things
Wait,
to tell
wait,
me
you have
why
a
Claire.
We're not. Close enough.
Do you have a sibling I don't know about?
Sam and me aren't breaking up. I just consider her brother my
Yeah,
brother-in-law.
you get to an
at this
age where you
point.
just it feels weird to call them your partner's sibling. There's not a good word for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they've been. Are we allowed to say this on Ben Hansen's MinnMax? They've been blue balls in us for
that.
25
You
years
can
with
say that.
Ada and Leon. If they're not married, I'm gonna be pissed. I don't care about no Claire. It's got to be
Leon
Leon
is
and
like
Ada.
Kiryu. He's never had sex.
He's married to the job, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Married to the
right.
grind.
Said, yes, I do. Yeah.
No way.
No, I think he's married to Ada. They can't. They've been. they
I don't
got
think
along.
Ada would ever.
Ada's not
I don't
getting
think
with
Ada would
Leon
want
yet.
him.
Okay,
Yeah.
but then I think they have to do like an interesting like romance drama where it's Leon is married and there's a part of him that does love his wife, but you know that he doesn't really consider her his true
That's
one, and
messed
it's
up.
always Ada.
Leon
and
would
Resident
never-
Evil 10 like really gets into it.
What if
That's messed up.
what if the
There's
next
no
game
way.
starts with Leon like dropping his wife off at work and she gets out and kind of slams the car door and he's like, ugh, women. In the same way he is in RE4 when Ada gets out of his boat.
He's grown too much. He's had too many arcs since then. He's changed.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to do a programming note. Vanya616 in your all's chat says Ada can kick rocks. Can we ban that Can we ban that person?
Mods?
Can we ban them? Can we? I don't know.
We
if that's
support
okay.
all viewpoints on MinnMax. We've got some naming convention notes that I want to talk through. Shane G says, do you think they came up with the game title first and then were like,
100%.
what does Requiem mean for the
100%.
game?
They're writing themselves into a corner at this point, and they need to come up with the name first now. They have to with their clever little convention they've come up with.
Though Tess does say, highlighting the Q in Requiem is a double pun because the lowercase q both looks like a 9, but in Japanese, a word for 9 is Q. So it works
Wow.
both visually and verbally.
That's just perfect.
Sarah, does it?
Yeah, no, 9 is Q in Japanese. Is it? Was there Q? Oh, because there's like the letter Q in
'Cause
Requiem.
you're just
Okay, yeah.
saying
Oh
Q.
my god, I was like, is it Requiem? And I've just been pronouncing it wrong this entire time.
Requiem. Guy who's never heard the word Requiem before. Now, John Bogan writes in with something really important. Resident Evil 10, also Resident Evil X. What if we get finally the Resident Evil Dino Crisis crossover? Resident Evil Rex.
Resident Evil Rex.
Pretty
I was gonna ask
That's pretty good.
for Resident Evil 10. You guys seem pretty like set on it being like the Avengers. Have they mentioned that before? That they were gonna bring everyone back,
They
or
kind of did that in this one already.
like are they
well, they-
hinting at it?
They did it in 6 already. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of the Avengers one, but like, I don't know.
It is interesting that previously Resident Evil has kind of worked in trilogies where like 1, 2, 3 are kind
Yeah.
of a piece, 4, 5,
like
6
Zelda.
similar, but then 7 and 8 are very distinct from 9, and so I think 10 will probably be more of a direct sequel to
I feel like
9.
It goes
than-
1, 2,
I'm-
3, 9, and it seems like, I mean, just in terms of like, it seems
Yeah,
like a
I guess I'm more
bookend for
thinking like
that.
gameplay style.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kind of pissed that they've just left the Winters family in the dust like that. Like they set up.
Bye.
They're
Ethan.
fine.
Bye,
He's
Ethan.
fungus
Is it because
and he
nobody?
died
That's
and
just
his
another woman
daughter's
that they had to
okay.
leave in the dust, right? Because they did the Rose DLC.
I mean, yeah, they did that DLC, but like it just seemed like that was the next game. I think
I
Resident
thought
Evil
Rose
8
was
is-
going to be the protagonist in this game.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
showed
Yeah,
Blonde
like-
Girl. I was like, I know who that is.
And like Village is a better game than this one. I just kind of wish we could have like vibed with the Winters for a little while, seeing what was going to go on there, because it felt like they were kind of doing a more anthology approach at that point, and then we get I don't know.
If you had to pick, as Tom Blackburn asks, a dual protagonist pair for Resident Evil 10? I mean, Ada?
Ada. Needs to be
Sheva?
there.
Yeah.
Would they bring back Sheva? Especially if they remake 5
That'd be
between now and
crazy.
10?
That'd be.
I want it to be
crazy.
like a boss babe, and then I want the guy to be like the pencil pusher.
Yeah.
Like, but not an Ethan
Yeah.
Winter style. Like, I want him to be like Grace, where he works in the government.
Like,
and he's
that
not
guy
just
from
some
Metroid
man
Prime
that got
4.
taken off the street. Yeah.
It's about to get real nerdy in here. I don't even
I
have to
think
do
they-
a voice. We just have the
I
same
think
voice.
Resident Evil 10 should be the guy from the gunslinger from Resident Evil 4, the Australian, and then the big man from Resident Evil 8.
Wait, who's the
Are these just
alien?
random enemies? Realistic?
No, the merchant,
Oh, the merchant.
Is he
Like,
Australian?
I didn't think
Well,
he was
yeah.
Australian.
What are you buying?
What are you buying?
Yeah, he's
I thought he was
kind
from
of a-
Boston. I thought he was
What are
from
you buying?
Boston.
Have you all heard voices
Buying.
before?
I think he's just a guy
What are you
doing a
selling?
weird voice.
No, but anyway, whatever.
was
It's not
Boston.
maybe New Zealand at best, but
from Boston.
Boston, what?
Because he goes, "What are you
I think he's doing
flying?"
like a bad Cockney accent.
Yeah, like he's being silly.
Yeah, like
So anyway,
hey,
I
governor.
think Resident Evil 10 should be the merchant from Resident Evil 4 and the merchant from Resident Evil 8 just vibing out because canonically they're friends.
Just like
they
boys
are
trip.
friends.
What
Yeah.
about the
Yeah.
merchant's clone twin son?
I mean, the
And he's
merchant
actually
kind
not
of
a
is
clone, he's just
clones
normal.
because he's everywhere, and if you kill him, then he's still in other places
True.
in Resident Evil. 4.
No, if
Yeah.
you kill him, he goes away.
Blake is so
Famously.
mad at that.
Okay, but not in other parts of the game.
No, he goes away.
That's not true, Blake. That's not true.
It's the most
This is how
true
you and I
anything
talk,
has ever
Sarah.
been.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you can be confidently wrong. Twitch chat, who's right?
Oh, they always
I'm
know.
googling.
Oh, they're all saying Blake. Blake's more handsome. Blake's more right. Like they're all going crazy for me right now, Jacob. I don't know what to tell you.
Look, while we're talking about this, we can stew on this question. If
In
Grace,
professional mode, he's gone forever. Easy normal mode.
so Blake
he'll
was playing
respawn after
professional
some
mode.
time or when
okay,
you
well,
return
I
to
knew
the
that.
area.
You're
Okay,
both
because
right, you
Blake does not
guys.
play
You're
on
both
professional.
right! Yay!
But I'm still more handsome. I'm still more cool. Like we
Yeah.
were just.
If
I'm writing
Grace
that down as a
delivered
good
one-liners,
moment. A good moment for socials.
if Grace delivered one-liners like Leon, do you have any? They suggest after the processing section, she could say, "Wow, that was a lot to process."
I
then
wish she
after-
would reference her job more.
After the helicopter pilot gets impaled, she could say, "That was a sticky situation."
It has to be
He
more
was
things to do
killed
with her
horribly by a
anxiety.
stick.
Every joke has to be like,
think-
I have anxiety disorder pun.
I think it would be funny if like every time like someone's giving her a hard time or like something bad happens to her, she's like, "Oh, come on, give me a little grace here."
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Okay, okay, this is crazy, but am I the only one that thinks that they were going to name her Hope and then they thought it was too on the nose? Because I feel like they wanted to name her Hope because then it's like, "You're my last hope. Hope is the password." And they're like, "You're the key." And her name would literally be the key. But was that too cringe?
That's
Stop looking
too-
at your phones. Is that
that's a
too
little bit
cringe?
too
I think,
cringe.
but I feel like, stop it!
I wasn't. Audio listeners, I was
sorry.
the only one who wasn't.
Yeah.
I'm so
But I
sorry.
feel like they like meant to name her Hope and they were like, "Never mind, that's lame and cringe, but the password is still Hope."
It
Yeah,
also
I think
feels like,
you're right.
has there been someone named Hope in Resident Evil before?
There must be. It's
Hope
giving the
is a
Pokemon
cutscene
movie.
in Resident Evil 2.
Remember in the Pokemon movie with Slow King when he goes, "The world will turn to ash." And then when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh no, the world's gonna be exploded." And then by the end, it was like, "They make you Ash," and I was like, "Oh my god!" And it blew my brain. You thought it was gonna do that?
I thought that would like make more sense to why the password would be Hope, because other than that, we just watched that video.
I think
and
you're
then
right.
you just see two people going, "She's my Hope." I'm winking. And then the other guy's like, "I want to believe in hope." Because it's like, as somebody who played Blueprints, Hope was not at the top of my mind for potential passwords.
Yeah, yeah. We thought it was Requiem because that's what he said.
That's
He said,
crazy.
"I want."
They
He said,
literally
"That's my
play-
Requiem." He
they
literally said,
play
"That's
the
my
dialogue
Requiem."
line where he says, like, "Elpis is my hope," like, before
But then
she types it in.
He holds up Grace and he goes, "She is my Requiem," and he like holds. Her
Yeah, I
so
mean,
nice.
obviously, before you type it in, the game tells you the password
game
is
told
Hope.
you.
But like before then, I was trying to think of what the password could possibly be because they're like, "Grace, you know what the password is," and she never did. I mean, until like she saw that video, but everyone was so convinced that she would know the password, and she literally
Isn't
just did
that
it.
funny? Again, how just goddamn dumb the villains are. That were like, "Here's our big plan. We leave her to die in
We
a mansion
kidnap
for
the
a
girl."
while."
Yeah, we-
But then she's the only one who knows the password. Also, she doesn't unless she just happened to have this little mini disc in her back and watch a cutscene
watched
2
it.
minutes ago.
Maybe they're just assuming
It's giving
that
like
she knew the
Emperor's New
password.
Groove.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they thought that she knew it.
Yeah.
and she didn't.
Grace,
Also-
Grace must be like, "I need to be here at all. What the hell?
I could have been at
y'all?
home
Like, I
watching
could be
TV.
at home right now."
Yeah, no, but also the other thing that doesn't really make sense is this guy is like, "Ooh, I want to save the world. Ooh, I want to save it. I'm going to be so good." but I'll lock all the good stuff behind a password and I'll die. It's like, that's not a very good way to say
type
the
in
word.
the password wrong, it blows up. And
Like, why
then
wouldn't he
nobody
say,
gets the vaccine?
I want to better the world, here's the cure? Why is he like, first I'm going to die, and then I'm going to hide the password, and then maybe the world will be better?
Yeah, he's like, I could just aerosolize this and drop it from a plane, but instead I'm going to spend $5 billion making an underground laboratory that's
A
rigged
bunker
to
for
blow.
it to sit in. Yeah.
Let's go back to talking about gameplay just for a second.
Okay.
So we get a little more positive again. Jake Stanley says, and I agree, this game nails gamer brain better than any game I've played in the past year. Seeing 2 green doorways in the arc and just knowing the closer one is going to be a save place or a room with ammo and other pickups, and the far room is going to bring progression feels so good. They're right.
I feel like these
true.
psychological effects of, and especially horror games too, they know us better than we know ourselves in terms of like how we will play the game. Like, I think one of the most interesting things is horror games when you're running from an enemy in the dark, and the way the game will like naturally lead you the right direction. Like, you're still scared, but the game is literally holding your hand the entire time.
Yeah, how like in the first section with the girl, there's that kind of hallway that you're not going to see as a hallway because it's dark, and so you're going to walk past it the first time, and the second time you'll come out and be like, oh, I should turn that way. Yeah, it's very, I mean, it is just like, it is, they just know so much what they're doing. Speaking of knowing what they're doing, Nikki Nam says, during the ending cutscene after Grace and Leon have been rescued, there's a shot of Leon's back and he's holstered his axe in a way that accentuates his hip movement and draws the viewer's attention to his ass. Did you guys
I
know?
did notice
remember
that.
this moment,
I think
yes. I think we went, whoa, or something when we were watching.
this is equality for all like the boob shots that we've had to look at in
God
video
forbid.
games over the years.
God forbid we get a little wiggle once a
God forbid,
decade.
your little ass.
A little wiggle once in 10 years.
Have you guys got the model viewer and seen if there's a little wiggle in there? Because in Resident Evil 4 there was in a kind of shocking way.
Man, we watched the motion capture actor who's quite muscly himself, but really it's his voice that just comes through as like, holy crud, he's got the best voice I've ever heard in my life.
Is it the same voice actor and motion capture guy?
Yep.
That's cool. Because
Sometimes they use stunt actors, but yeah, for some of the scenes it is like the actual voice actors.
The more just like they're standing still talking acting, yeah, it's him.
Jason Wojnar says that end credits song sucks. I agree, but I also kind of think it's important that a Resident Evil end credit song sucks. It feels like part of it.
It's a nice little cherry.
Yeah. Resident Evil games always have to end with the worst song you've ever heard. Silent Hill games sort of as well. To be
Yeah.
honest. It's
What is that about?
survival horror tradition. Yeah. You remember the heavy metal song that ends the first Silent Hill 2 game, Jacob?
Yeah. I think
get,
I
like,
just kind of repress that every time.
You get the like Mary note and like you cry and then it's like, darn it. It's garbage.
Okay, the final puzzle. Did any of y'all, we touched on it last week. Did any of y'all look anything up about this?
We watched the
I watched
whole
the
thing
YouTube
live
short,
on
yeah.
stream.
Yeah, I watched the IGN explanation video.
Thank you, IGN.
Thank you, IGN.
So Patrick G lays it out for us. In one playthrough, you need to get the hand, the girl's hand, and analyze it for the code. Then you need to find all letters and their meanings. Each letter corresponds to a number, and those numbers are the distance to the sun, moon, and nearest star. They are found by the microscope, the hourglass, a document, and finally kicking the head in the basketball hoop after the Mr. X fight. Next, find the doll, which is the hardest, but there are hints about it. You have to let 15 minutes pass when the bodies fall in the basement, then only let the grinder kill them on the belt, then you have to flush the toilet exactly 8 times, then the doll will appear in the lab when the blood tank blows up. The doll will stay in your inventory for every playthrough. Finally, on the next playthrough, you take Emily and the doll to Victor's puzzle box and enter the long code from the hand sequence. Then you get a creepy laugh and you get some points.
There should have been a little joke you get. You should have gotten a little Rick roll, a little silly, like Leon doing the gritty or something. Like, you needed something there. Otherwise, it's like, you just get...
I guess, but it's just so obscure that it's almost you want to make it. It's like, I don't ever want to feel pressured into having to do that in the game. So I'm kind of glad it's like nothing.
I guess, but I really do love.
Sometimes I feel like we shouldn't reward people who chase things like this.
But like,
Is that cruel?
I think they're punished enough by having to figure out that it's the distance from the Earth to the sun. To the
like Jacob,
nearest
one of
star.
your
I
best-
like these,
One of your
but-
best videos is like communities figuring things out together outside the media. Like that's so fun.
That's true, but the best part about that is that there wasn't anything, and they were
That's
all.
true.
I
they
guess
were
so,
We
that is
all
true.
thought. And
So it's
like,
only
let's
fun
all
if
be
there's
real.
nothing to find.
And let's all be real. That video's amazing. We all thought all those people were nerds when we heard about what they went through. Like, we were all like, that's a waste of time.
I
I
really
like watching
that,
the
though.
communities work together on
Yeah.
stuff like this. I think it was lame that it was ruined by data miners. I think
was
that was
data mined,
uncool of
That's-
them.
I
I didn't
and I
know
think
that.
Yeah.
yeah, they like literally the community
Dweeb-
got a majority
dweeb
of the way
action.
through, and then data miners did the rest. And it's like, I mean, I guess
Boo.
I'm surprised that they held out that long. But yeah, boo. And I think they could have had a little more, but I also think, you know, when you're developing a game on a timeline, you can't really think like, but has anyone thought about what we should give to like the 5 people who complete this puzzle?
Yeah, I think it's fun that it's in there. I wonder, like, and I guess I'm glad that it's not like a lore thing. You know, that it is just this
Yeah,
big.
it's not a
It's so
trophy
hard
or
to hide a
something, God
secret in a
forbid.
game.
Yeah.
You know, that it's fun that it's kind of like an old Mortal Kombat style secret. There are
Other
some post.
Resident Evil games had
What?
stuff to that.
I don't
Extent.
think.
I mean, it's like unlocking like tofu and stuff in Resident Evil 2 was like kind of a secret, but it was certainly much easier to get than
This
that.
kind of gives
I think that might
Call
be
of
kind of
Duty
new.
zombies like shoot this street lamp 5 times and then do a little spin and then go
That's
over
true.
here.
Yeah.
It was more like that.
I mean, the thing I do like in this is like when the puzzle has elements of its solution outside the game, like the distance of the sun and the moon and all that. Like, I think that's kind of cool. But overall,
I would have never known that. Like I would have
Yeah.
like that number when we watched the IGN video. The guy was like, "And the 1,175,000. Obviously, the distance to the sun." I'm like, "Who just would pull that out of their ass and know that and be like sun and write it in their little notebook?"
I
No
mean,
way.
there are, you know, I feel like the thing is like one person will, and then
Yeah,
like, you
one
share with other
person.
people, right? I think that's like
That's
the
what's
beauty of
fun.
these puzzles is like not one person can solve it. It's like the collective solves every little piece together.
Yeah.
Which I think is beautiful.
That is beautiful.
After the credits, we see a couple things. We see some paratroopers stealing virus from the blast site. So it's like, well, nothing is ever actually over. You know, there's more virus out in the world. Grace is back in her cubicle. She has adopted Emily, who's learning to read. The boss is still a jerk. Do you think that Grace is going to be in another Resident Evil game?
I hope so.
I think so.
I hope
You
so.
don't
But the
think
track
so?
record, so
Blake
bad.
is shaking his head.
Why you say no?
I
Blake?
don't because of what Sarah said. Like, I think Grace never shows up again. That is it. Like, she's going to hang out with the Winters kids.
She's going
Like,
to be
that's
a
it.
reference 3 games from now, and
Yeah.
people will get mad that you don't know that it was a
Yeah.
reference to Grace.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The circle of life, you could say.
Yeah.
Will D says, you know, on one hand, I love her as a character. On the other hand, please let this poor woman live the rest of her life in relative peace. So, you know, either way, she kind of wins.
I mean, they could set her up for a really interesting arc that they haven't done.
Yeah, but
which
she's
is,
a mom now.
I
So
think
was
that
Alyssa?
she's going to
She
be
showed up
a
and died?
Sherry.
Yeah, what happened to her?
That she's going to be a voice in a earpiece.
Yeah, I think
that she'll
you're
keep
right, too.
working at
They're
the
setting her up for
FBI.
a Sherry.
And then maybe she'll get like one level. You know, that it'll be like mostly but then someone breaks into the FBI and it's a giant snake. And
We
like,
gotta go back to the
uh-oh.
care center for some reason. Let's go.
Oh, it's all messed up. All the puzzles are done. Blake, are you going to say something?
Y'all think they're going to do another remake? And which one next? Because it would realistically probably be Veronica or 5.
Maybe 5.
Yeah, I guess the rumors have been Veronica.
You could also do 0 as well, though they like really dragged that one out because of one of the GameCube ones.
At some point, I was sure that they would not do 5. Now I think there's nothing. I think they would do 5 and not. I mean, it's like in 2007, people got mad at it, now they would maybe win points for being anti-woke. You know, maybe they'll try to rewrite that story a little bit to make it less horribly racist.
I think Zero would be so cool because that game takes place on a train.
Ooh.
Like, it's
but
like
it has, doesn't it have two characters who have basically like never showed up again? Or is
Rebecca
that Veronica?
Chambers. It's Rebecca Chambers and some other guy that I think has never showed up again.
That's the other
Chat,
guy.
let me know if
Yeah,
I'm wrong. Yeah. Chat, let me know if I'm wrong about Rebecca. But I think that's where she starts out.
It would be cool if they did a like another kind of small one like Resident Evil 3 and kind of said like, you know what, this isn't Resident Evil 3. I feel like people got, you know, upset at because it was a much smaller game than 2, but I feel like if they said out the gate, hey, this is gonna be like a pretty condensed but like all good the whole time Resident Evil experience, I think I'd be down for that.
They could do Dead Aim, the one on the boat. You remember that one, Jacob, on PS2? Did you ever play that one?
Yeah, I remember it well. Dead Aim and Link's crossbow training.
Do Dead Aim, that'd be cool. Dead Aim was my first Resident Evil game, so you know.
Oh wow.
They got me. I'm signed up.
So Blake, you said that you liked Village more than this.
Yeah.
In the first half, I was definitely like, this is better. I think by the second half, I might feel similarly. I like Grace more than any of the characters in Village, but I do think that the second half of this game loses a lot of the like magic.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean,
But I still go ahead.
Village is all gas, no ass. Like even like that back third, like I stay locked into Village the whole way. I think it's like one of the cooler games they've ever done. I think it's one of the like, I don't know if ambitious is the right word, but like boldest in terms of like how it flips things around, does things new, but also like keeps things the same. And I think in this game's best moments, it feels very, I don't know. I don't know. I do think this one's better ultimately than like, and I'm only talking about the modern ones at this point. The 7 and 3 remake, even 2 remake, because I think the back third of 2 is like pretty kind of piss poor. So overall, this one's really high for me, but Village, I think dunks on it overall.
Haley, Sarah.
That's a long answer to your question. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Do you all have kind of a mental like rankings? Where does this land for you?
I feel like I'm struggling with the same things our viewers, like the people who wrote in, were struggling with the nostalgia thing. Because I really liked the game up until it kind of became like a nostalgia, like let's run it back with the greatest hits. Even though I agree that the hits were great, I feel like it just kind of didn't, it like lost sight of what it was trying to be at the beginning by trying to fit all these other pieces into it. And then I also feel like, how much do I care about how much the story doesn't like falls apart? You know, like how much do I care about knowing if Grace was a clone or not? Like, I feel like when they tried to wrap it up into the greater Resident Evil universe, that's where it kind of like tangles a little bit. So yeah, I haven't really decided how I feel about it personally. I definitely the Resident Evil engine is so impressive to me. Like, this game looks amazing. What they've managed to do is amazing. But yeah, it's like contending with that. Like, how much do I personally care about like this or that in like the storytelling? So I haven't decided yet.
It's wild that like since basically I don't have much experience with the older Resident Evil games. So I'll just say like since 2005, they've basically made one consistently good game, which is Resident Evil 4. And even then people will contend that the back like 25% is rough, but still pretty damn consistent. And every other game has like, oh man, it started off so good, and then that back part got a little like it's like a, you know, they just have to do it. And it's so weird that I feel like consistently everyone's like, we like the police station, we like the Grace part, we like, you know, being in the Resident Evil 7 house. It's when you hand me a machine gun that I start not liking the game. and it just the games kind of can't help themselves. Haley, how do you feel? I want to hear Haley's ranking.
I think it's narrowly passing 4 for me. I think it is my new favorite Resident Evil.
Wow.
Game. I love 4, but I think the Care Center.
Because she didn't play the Wii version. Don't attack her in the comments. Haley did not play the Wii version of Resident Evil 4. She doesn't know.
Didn't waggle
she knows not what she says.
Whatever, dude. I love 4.
Yeah,
4
you've
was
never
great.
waggled Leon Kennedy, and if you had,
We're trying. That's why we played this stupid game. I think it is, and it's mainly because I just think the Care Center is such an expertly crafted game area. Not just when you're Grace either. Like when we played through that, and the fear of it, the pacing of it is so fantastic. The enemies they encounter, the twist of the zombies have memories. It felt so fresh and new. Plus, it just visually looks striking. What a good environment to be in. Every room was different and unique, even though you were in a same-z place. Like it's just everything was out of the park. And then the gameplay shift to Leon to do the cleanup after felt so good that I was kind of chasing that feeling with Leon the rest of the game, and it kind of plateaued with Leon. I still loved it, right? Like I still had a lot of fun. So when I say plateau, I'm not saying like then I didn't like it, but it was such a peak of, okay, now I'm Leon and I'm in the same place and the bullets one-shot them, what? And the catharticism of going through the area that I just crumpled through and died a million times, but I'm like a god now and tidying it up felt so good that I just wanted that same kind of quid pro quo of going back and forth between the two characters like that. And it's kind of hard to replicate because as soon as you know that you can clean up as Leon after, you might play the game a totally different way. So I get why they kind of went off into a different tangent and did more of just like, now you're Leon and you're doing Leon things. And it felt more like a 4 than, like a more of a survival horror kind of thing. But I just think they did really cool stuff with that felt so unique and fresh that it was Resident Evil 2026. Like it was new Resident Evil. This is the next way that we're going to do things. This is the new way. And then they kind of reverted back and went nostalgia farming in the second half, which was fine. But like that's where it went down a little bit for me. But I think the first half is just so insanely strong that it kind of carries the rest of it for me. And I'm happy with it otherwise.
That's awesome. I'm glad that it is at your top. I mean, and I think it is like, I have never played in the past 20 years one of these games and been like, I'm not excited for what they do next. Like it's they are a remarkably consistent studio, even with the inconsistent ending sometimes. I think that's it. Is there anything that we have not said about Resident Evil Requiem that we need to say about Resident Evil Requiem? Garrett Holfish says that Leon has bad posture given how good his muscles look.
That's just how massive his shoulders are. That's the weight of carrying the world.
It just hunches him over.
Yeah.
I have the same problem. Yeah.
Me and my friends have a metric. We call it a triple plater, which is you could fit 3 dinner plates on the back of a man. And if you're a triple plater, you're a great little pig.
Wait, going which way?
Horizontally, I assume.
Sarah knows
Shoulder
this.
to shoulder.
So, like, most men are double platers, no harm in it, right? But if you're a 2.5 triple plater, that's insane. And
you're gonna have like men holding up plates to their shoulders.
That's what I want. I want them to go to the mirror and hold up a plate and feel what I felt at 13.
Planking till failure and triple plate.
Triple plater. He's a triple plater, and he knows it. And I think he had fine. I never noticed that his posture was bad. Was he slouching?
He kind of hunches, but that's just because. Yeah, that's just because he
has the
T
virus. Go easy on him.
Let him leave him alone.
He's a little sick. Yeah.
Leave him alone. But yeah, I still think like I will always look forward to Resident Evil games. Period.
Yeah.
Like this was great. I had so much fun. I had so much fun playing with Haley. I just won't think about it too hard. I'll go back to not thinking about it. And suddenly it's like an amazing game.
Like this game made me throw up my HelloFresh meal. I threw up my HelloFresh that I paid for.
HelloFresh!
This is not an ad. I love HelloFresh, and I threw up my nice meal my partner made me, and I'm still saying it's my favorite Resident Evil. That's insane.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like, a game ever made you barf?
Has a game ever made me barf? No.
You don't get motion sick ever?
I do get motion sick, but not from video games, no.
What about VR?
My final note, Jacob, if I may.
Yeah.
Is, I'm gonna restart the original Resident Evil 4 tonight. I think that's
hell
what
yeah.
I'm gonna do
That's
the rest of my night. I'm gonna play
honestly,
it on Switch.
I think if there is ever a point where I can play an old video game because new video games aren't coming out that I want to play, I need to play GameCube Remake. Like I'm committed at this point because I've never played Remake, like the first one, and I would very much like to.
I haven't installed Something Rotten Season. I haven't installed right now on my PS5. I just bought it. It was on sale because I played the original one, never beat it as a kid, but I haven't played this one. So
maybe. Blake Hester, thank you for being on this deepest dive. What a treat. Yeah. Blake, is there anything out in the world that you want people to know about?
Yeah, go to snipershirts.com. Got some stuff coming up. I get a lot of notes from people being like, I really like your shirts, but they're a little too erotic for me. And it's like, first off, grow up, deal with it. Second off, I'm doing some tame shirts next month. I'm pretty excited about. So
I wear my Indica shirt all the time, and I sometimes get looks from older ladies getting a bit offended. But I'm like,
thank you.
Cool
Man, I love that shirt. I'll never sell anything close to what we did on that shirt again.
I love that shirt.
So thank you so much. So just go check that out. Other than that, don't bother me. Leave me alone.
Leave him alone. Haley McLean, Sarah Podzorski, thank you both for being on the deepest dive, for playing through all of Resident Evil Requiem, which is all on the MinnMax's YouTube channel at this point.
Watch our playthrough.
Can watch it. You can see Haley barf. I mean, she'll be off screen, but you'll know that it's happening. Yeah, you can see y'all react to the various endings.
You puked on stream?
No, I went off camera.
But yes.
But I threw up during a stream. Yes.
Wow.
And I rallied and I came back.
She rallied and she came back.
That's raw, dude. Hell yeah. Love that.
Something rotten. I could have been the third host, I tell you. Barfing while I play games.
Yes. Wow.
That's rotten as hell.
Is that what that podcast is about?
No, but I'm making
it. If I had it my way, it would be.
And thank you, the listener, for listening to this deepest dive. If you like this and you haven't checked out MinnMax before, I don't know, cool. Thanks for listening to this. We've done more deepest dives on a lot of different games. That might be fun to go through, or listen to our podcast, which we think is good. Is there anything else, man? Or is that it? Are we signing off?
Thank you for hosting, Jacob. You're very good at reading the comments at the very perfect time. Good job.
Thank you. I try. And that's it. We'll see you next Resident Evil, everyone. So long. Have fun.
I love you, Leon.
Be good. Have fun. Let's go.
Love you, Leon.
Bye, Leon.
I'm glad you didn't die.